Larry Christenson waiting for the leadoff batter to come up, Davey Lopes, who is taking his time. Christenson is 23 years of age, from Everett, Washington. Has a record of 19-6 for the year, and he won 15 of his last 16 decisions. And the right-hander to work, and his first pitch is outside, a breaking ball for ball one. Davey Lopes, the batter. Lopes 3 for 9 in this series. Right-hand batter, and the next pitch is popped up into shallow center field. Moving up in the ball is Garry Maddox, an outstanding center fielder, and he makes the play. And the interesting thing about that is that Maddox running to that ball was not limping. He missed the first games of the series because of an injury to his knee. So Maddox is not limping. Apparently he is all right, and they can certainly use his speed. So Lopes flies out to center field. That'll bring up Bill Russell, who's had 2 hits and 9 times up so far in the series. Russell, a right-hand batter. And Christenson with his first delivery, it's too low for a ball. Christenson won his first Major League game against the New York Mets. At that time was a different pitcher than he is now. He took a lot of time on the mound. Now he works very quickly. He comes back with a fastball. It's fouled back out of play. Lopes for the year hit 283. Bill Russell hit 278. Russell with 4 home runs, 51 runs batted in. And now the next delivery, and it's lined right at the second baseman. Taken by Ted Sizemore, 2 men away.
Well, Connor, have you noticed how so often with young pitchers who delay their pitching on the mound that one of the standard procedures is to try to get them to speed it up, and it seems to help a lot of them.
Really has helped Christenson. He had a record of 19-6, and he certainly has speeded up his delivery. Now the batter coming up is Reggie Smith. He's 2 for 8 in this series. Reggie with a fine year, hitting .307 with 32 home runs, 87 RBIs. He takes a called strike. Christenson had a record of no wins and 2 losses against the Dodgers this year, and the next delivery is grounded foul. Took something off the pitch, a good changeup, and Smith out in front, grounding the ball off to the right side. In the first game of the season series with the Phillies and Dodgers, Christenson was really jumped on by the Dodgers and was a losing pitcher. Pitch high, a fastball. They knocked him out of the box with 7 runs on 7 hits after 1 2/3 innings. Reggie Smith and Ron Cey had back-to-back homers in the first inning to get things going against Christenson. That was back on May the 6th. Now a slow changeup. It is just out of the strike zone, and the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Smith has a reputation around the league of having trouble with off-speed pitching, but not much. So Christenson, tall on the mound, and his next delivery to Smith. It is swung on a miss, the fastball, and Reggie Smith has struck out a 1-2-3 inning for Larry Christenson. And the score at the end of 1/2 inning, it's the Dodgers nothing and the Phillies coming up.
Well, this is a pivotal game for both teams, of course. They're tied up 1, and if you lose this game, you really have your back to the wall. There's no tomorrow. You have to win on the following day. So both these teams know this very well. Unlike Dodger Stadium, where the first 2 games were played, the ball carries very well at Veterans Stadium, and ground balls move quickly on the AstroTurf, and a lot of the Philly players hit the ball on the ground quite a bit, so that should help them a little bit. It will be also be sharply cooler, and it is sharply cooler in Philadelphia, as was mentioned, overcast. Every so often, a little bit of sunshine will come through. The temperature will stay around 60 throughout most of the ball game. A wicked crossbody block by Kansas City's Hal McRae sparked the New York Yankees to rally behind the pitching of Ron Guidry on Thursday night. And even the American League Championship Series at a game apiece with that 6-2 win over the Royals. The American League Series moving back to the artificial turf in Kansas City on Friday with a good chance of rain tonight.
This broadcast presented by authority of Major League Baseball is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the description and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is prohibited. Here at Veterans Stadium, we might mention that there is a wet strip behind the shortstop and in front of the left fielder running about 150 feet long and maybe 40 feet wide that could, if the ball is hit there, may be a factor. The ground gets very slippery in those wet areas. There are some wet sections in right field, but the infield is completely dry, and the action continues now with Burt Hooton on the mound and Ralph Kiner to call it for you.
And the Philadelphia Philly partisan crowd starting to whoop it up. There's a difference in the crowd. Dodger Stadium, the crowd more sedate. They do cheer when their home team comes through. The 2 Grand Slam home runs hit by the Dodgers were certainly received by the fans with as much enthusiasm and applause of any group of people gathered together, but here you'll find the Philadelphia Philly fans keep it up constantly. It's a noisy, noisy stadium. Veterans Stadium that seats over 58,000. Burt Hooton with a record of 12-7, 0-2 against the Dodgers, 2.62 ERA. Born in Greenville, Texas. Was an All-America at the University of Texas as a pitcher. He throws a knuckle curve, and he developed that while trying to learn how to throw a knuckleball. He never could master the knuckleball and ended up with a knuckle curve which reacts a little bit like a knuckleball. It breaks down, and sometimes it breaks down and in, and sometimes down and out. Very tough pitch to hit, and especially if it's kept low. Hooton had 153 strikeouts in the regular season, and he starts his windup, and the first pitch is chopped out to the mound. It is taken by Hooton right on top of the mound, and McBride, who had been 4 for 9 in the series, is thrown out. Knuckle curve and bounce. And Hooton now looking up, and he had some trouble with the sun on that ground ball.
Shades of Billy Lowe, Ralph Kiner. That sun is low in the sky, and when that bounced at him, you could see him fighting the sun. It was a one-hopper. You go back to the old Brooklyn Dodger days of Billy Lowe's who complained he lost a ground ball in the sun.
Nobody would believe him, but it can be done if the ball is chopped high enough. And we're on artificial turf, and now we're going to have time called as Ron Cey goes to the sunglasses. We have sun here at Philadelphia breaking through the overcast. Field dimensions are 330 down each line, 371 in left center field and right center field, 408 in center field, and the fence 12 feet high. Artificial turf, and it's fast. So 1 man away, and 1 pitch, and Larry Bowa, the batter. Larry is switch hitter, batting from the left-hand side. McBride hit 316 in the regular season. Bowa hit 280, and the first pitch is taking a called strike. The ball popping out of the glove of Bill Yeager. Steve Garvey at first base, Davey Lopes at second base, the shortstop Bill Russell, third baseman Ron Cey, in the outfield and left field Dusty Baker, Rick Mundy in center field, and Reggie Smith in right. And Bowa bunts the ball and is hit by the ball, but he's hit while in the batter's box, so he is not out. And they're checking out to see whether or not it was in the box or not, but no argument on the play, so evidently Steve Yeager is satisfied that the call was right. Bowa has that exceptional speed. The infield has to shorten up on him. And now Hooton into the windup, and the pitch back is hit hard, but right at Bill Russell, the shortstop, as he moves to his left. He comes up with the ball and the throw to first base for the out. 2 men up and 2 men down. That'll bring up the big favorite here in Philadelphia. It's Mike Schmidt. Schmidt hit 38 home runs in the course of the season, 101 RBIs, had an average of 274. So far in the series, he's 1 for 9. Prior to this year, Schmidt led the National League in home runs 3 consecutive years. The year before this year, he led the major leagues with 38. George Foster, the leading hitter in home runs in the major leagues, with 52 this year. Also in runs batted in, 149. So, Schmidt in the batter's box, and here's Hooton's windup and pitch. And he misses with a fastball low and inside. Lifetime, Hooton has won 9 and lost 11 to the Philadelphia Phillies. Last year, he had a record of 11-15 with a 3.25 ERA. And now the pitch back is popped up. A high pop-up into shallow center field, backtracking as Davey Lopes. He's back into the shallow outfield area in center, and he makes the catch, and the Phillies go down in order. And the score at the end of one, it's the Phillies nothing and the Dodgers nothing.
More about that American League game that was played, the second game of the series on Thursday. We mentioned before, a wicked cross body block by KC's Hal McRae got the Yankees really up. They went on to win that ball game behind Ron Guidry 6-2. Quip Johnson, the DH, obtained in a midseason waiver deal from the Houston Astros, tied up the game at 1-1 with a mammoth home run in the 5th inning. It was Johnson again in the 6th, flashing a line drive into left field. It broke a 2-2 tie and triggered a 3-run rally.
Veterans Stadium at Philadelphia, a place where baseball has taken over, and part of the growing demand for tickets here at Veterans Stadium forced them to take a big part of the scoreboard down. They had 2 huge scoreboards in center field. One has been removed. It used to have the ball and strikes and other features on it and some of the color that they would perform during the game. And now they have the single scoreboard in right center field. But that opened up a few thousand seats in dead center for the fans who poured in here to the tune of 2,700,000, an all-time Philadelphia record. And that record only exceeded by the 2,955,000 by the Los Angeles Dodgers. So to talk about baseball fever in Los Angeles and Philadelphia, the folks here in town know all about it. We might mention, too, watching young Larry Christenson in that first inning, only 23 years old, looked like a total professional, got his balls over in the right place. And one of the things, Ralph Kiner, that struck me, when I looked at Larry Christenson and blinked, I thought it was Don Larson out there. A no wind-up right-hander about the same size with that good fastball and good breaking curve.
Don Larson, the only man to pitch a perfect game in World Series history, and the only man to pitch a no-hitter, as a matter of fact. And he did it while pitching for the Yankees against the Dodgers. So Larry Christenson now taking his warm-up pitches for the Phillies. Richie Hebner at first base, the second baseman Ted Sizemore, shortstop Larry Bowa, third baseman Mike Schmidt, in left field Greg Luzinski, in center field Garry Maddox, and Bake McBride at right. The catcher Bob Boone and Christenson now has completed his warm-up pitches. First two games of this series drew 111,944, 55,968 in the first game, and 5 more in the second. And we've got an outstanding crowd here again today. Shadow has extended now from home plate out to just about the front edge of the pitcher's mound. Still an advantage for the pitcher. And the first batter will be Ron Cey, and the first pitch to the Penguin is called a strike. Cey is 3 for 7 with a grand slam home run in this series, the first man to do it in National League playoff history. Cey batted .241 in the regular season with 30 home runs, 110 RBIs. He takes another called strike. So Christenson out in front, and as Jerry pointed out, he's in good command right now. And the right-hander's pitch, slider just outside, and the count of 1-2. Christenson is not what you would call a strikeout pitcher. In the regular season, he had 118 and 219 innings. And the right-hander with that short windup, the pitch back to the plate is a fastball just inside, down around the knees. The count of 2 balls and 2 strikes. He won 15 of his last 16 decisions and won his last 7 straight. Finished with a close of 15 out of 16. And at 2-2, the pitch to Cey hit hard to Mike Schmidt, the human vacuum cleaner at third base, and he picks it up and throws to first base for the out. So 4 in a row for Larry Christenson, and the batter coming up will be Steve Garvey. Garvey 3 for 7 so far in this series with 1 run batted in. In the regular season, Steve batted .297 with 33 home runs. That's a new Dodger record for teams playing in Los Angeles. He also drove in 115. Garvey closed strongly, hitting in 15 of his last 19 ball games to bat .451 over that period. He looks at a called strike. Christenson at Veterans Stadium has a record of 10-2 for this year. Of course, the Phillies are tough to beat no matter whether Jerry Koolman would be on the mound in this ballpark.
They've got some record, Ralph, no question about that.
They have a record of 16 wins and 21 losses, and they lost their first 5. Now a pitch grounded foul, and they counted strike 2. They batted .295 here in the stadium, and it is a hitter's ballpark, a home run haven. Philadelphia led the National League in team batting average at .279. So Garvey with a 2-strike count against him, and Christenson into the windup. Here's the pitch, a line drive to center, a base hit, the first one of the ball game. So Garvey gets his 4th hit in 8 times up, and that'll bring up Dusty Baker, who was the hero of the Dodger win 2 days ago in Dodger Stadium with a grand slam home run. Baker 2 for 7 in the series with 4 runs batted in. Baker batted .291 in the regular season with 30 home runs and 86 runs batted in. And some drama put on by Dusty Baker the last game of the season. There's a pitch for a called strike. 3 other Dodgers have hit 30 home runs or more in the regular season. No team had ever had 4 players to do so. Baker took until his last time up, the last day of the season, to hit his 30th to make it an all-time record. Fastball fouled back out of play. So it's a 2-strike count, and Christenson out in front all the way through the early part of this ball game. Made 35 starts in the regular season. Did not appear in relief. And the right-hander leans in looking for the signs from his catcher, Bob Boone. Garvey bluffs at running, and Christenson sees him make a move toward second and backs off the pitching rubber. Now he sets up again. Garvey might have been going. Stopped just at the last second when he saw Christenson was not going to move. Now the pitch, and it's hit to left center field. A long fly ball. Could be extra bases. It will be extra bases. It's off the wall. Garvey goes to third. The ball bobbled by Maddox off of the wall. Garvey's being waved in. The throw by the infielder to the plate is not in time. And Garvey scores, although the plate was blocked by Boone, and Boone disagrees with the call by umpire Harry Wendelstadt. Ball bobbled off the wall, and Steve Garvey, a former football player, crashing into Boone at home plate.
There's no question, Ralph, that when Garry Maddox bobbled the ball, and he might be just a little bit nervous. You've got to remember, this is his first game in championship play. And when that ball got away from him, Garvey, who just made it in under the gun of the throw by Larry Bowa on the relay, would have been an easy out had he tried it otherwise.
He got in, I guess, under the tag. It was a very close play. Garvey was going to hold up at second. He was not sure that ball was going to be off of the wall, and he almost fell down as he stumbled around second. So the Dodgers have drawn first blood as Baker gets a run batted in his fifth in the series. He is the leader so far in the series in RBIs. And now the batter will be Rick Mundy. Mundy 1 for 4 in the series, a left-hand batter. And here's the pitch. It's swung on a miss. Maddox is considered to be the best fielding center fielder. In the National League, but he bobbled that ball off of the wall just momentarily, enough to allow Garvey to be called safe at home, and it was a tough call at home. And here's the pitch back, a changeup in the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Mundy batted .229 in the regular season with 15 home runs, and he hits a high fly ball to center field. Maddox backpedaling is under it. Tagging up at second as Baker. Maddox makes the catch. Baker does not go as Maddox fires over to third. The throw was offline, but it carried all the way to in front of Mike Schmidt, where it was cut off by Larry Bowa. Bowa's throw to the plate to Boone was a good throw, and Boone had the plate blocked, and on the replay on television, it looked like he actually did have it blocked, but sometimes the angle is off. So now 2 men away, a runner still at second base, and the batter will be the catcher, Steve Yeager. Yeager 1 for 7 in this series, batted .256 in the regular season with 16 home runs and 55 RBIs, his best year. He is an outstanding defensive catcher. Dodgers leading 1-0. And Christenson whirls around and moves the runner Baker back to second base, no one covering. Sizemore had made a move to the bag, but then stopped. So Christenson looks in again, goes to the set position. This time, Sizemore over by the bag. No throw. The pitch to plate. Line to right center field. A base hit. Going over to field it is McBride. Coming in to score is Baker. And the Dodgers lead 2-0 as they jump to the early lead. Good base hit by Steve Yeager, coming with 2 men out in front of the pitcher. You don't often see a batter get a good hit in that spot because the pitchers usually are extremely careful. But a good 2-out base hit in front of the pitcher, Burt Hooton. And Hooton is a 164 hitter.
Christenson had command of his pitches very well in the first inning and to the first batter in the second here, but he's been getting them up, and they're starting to take their toll. Garvey single, a Baker double, a long fly by Mundy, and then a single by Yeager on a curveball that hung in his eyes.
Hooton's a right-hand batter, and Christenson working to him with his first pitch and gets a strike with a slider over the outside corner. I think you're going to hear a lot of comment and see a lot of pictures on the call at home plate on Steve Garvey. It'll be discussed, especially here in Philadelphia. There's one down the left field line. It's extra bases. Yeager going around second on the third. Luzinski waits for it. Grabs it with a bare hand. A throw now into Schmidt. And here comes Yeager trying to score. And this time, Yeager is out. Yeager did not like the call. Lopes has to restrain him. He grabs him around the shoulders, pushes him away from home plate umpire Harry Wendelstadt. The relay coming into Mike Schmidt, the third baseman, and his throw to the plate in time for the out. Now Steve Garvey is talking to Wendelstadt as he takes his position, moving out to first base. So 2 controversial calls at home plate for Harry Wendelstadt. In the inning, 2 runs on 4 hits, 1 man left, and the score at the end of 1.5 innings, it's the Dodgers 2 and the Phillies nothing.
Ray Floyd struggled off a death threat in the youthful challenge of Severino Ballesteros Friday to reach the 36-hole final of the $225,000 World Match Play Golf Championships at Virginia Water, England. Floyd, accompanied by 2 police officers on the final holes of the semifinal match, edged his opponent 2-1. Now will compete for the $52,500 first prize Saturday with Australian Graham Marsh, who slammed his U.S. benefactor, Hale Irwin, 7-6. Organizers said they provided Floyd with protection following a telephone death threat to the 35-year-old pro from Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Floyd refused to comment, but showed no sign of stress as he blazed a blistering birdie trail over Wentworth's tree-lined 6,969-yard par 73 Burma Road course, thus notching 11 birdies and an eagle in 35 holes. Ballesteros, who ousted title favorite Tom Watson 5-4 on Thursday, stretched Floyd all the way.
Well, we had things change here in a hurry. Larry Christenson in the first inning sailed through the Dodgers 1-2-3, but in the second he started to get his pitches up. He gave up that single to Steve Garvey, the double to Dusty Baker. The ball bobbled by Maddox. Garvey coming around to score. Mundy hit a deep fly to center field. Then Steve Yeager singled in a run, and Burt Hooton doubled down the left field line. Yeager tried to score, and this time the relay that went from the left fielder to Mike Schmidt at third to the catcher Bob Boone caught Yeager scoring, and Yeager did not like the call. But as it turns out right now, we've gone through an inning and a half, and the Dodgers right now on top 2-0. Moving to the bottom of the second, Luzinski, Hebner, and Maddox as Burt Hooton gets ready. And now let's move over to Ralph Kiner.
All right, Jerry Coleman and the sun a little bit behind the clouds now, which will aid the defensive ball players. It'll take the glare away. Most of the players still with their sunglasses on in case it becomes glary again. Hooton taking his warm-up pitches. Took some time to come out to the mound as he was the man that was on base as he hit the double down the left field corner. For the Philadelphia Phillies, the leadoff batter will be the Bull, Greg Luzinski. 2 for 7 in this series. A 2-run home run for 2 runs batted in. Great favorite here in Philadelphia. Luzinski batting .309 for the year with 39 home runs, 130 runs batted in, and the first pitch is a ball. Now Hooton ready, and the pitch back to Luzinski, hit by the third baseman Ron Cey in the left field for a base hit, and the Phillies have their first man on. Ball fielded by Baker in left field, and tossed back into the infield, and Philadelphia with a runner at first and no one out. That'll bring up Richie Hebner. Hebner is 2 for 5 in the series. In the regular season, he batted .285 with 18 home runs, 62 runs batted in. Played out his option while with the Pittsburgh Pirates and was signed as a free agent by Philadelphia. Moved from third base to first, and Hebner, a left-hand batter, a dangerous left-hand batter. And Hooton's first pitch, a curveball hit right at the second baseman, should be 2. Lopes over to Russell. He drops the ball in the act of throwing. Russell dropped the ball in the act of throwing, so the out is affected at second base. He was trying to get it away in a hurry, hoping for the double play. And fortunately, he did have possession of the ball as far as the Dodger fans are concerned.
That was a case of a shortstop not bending his back to go after the ball. He stayed straight up and reached down, and his arms were about at the extremity, and the ball just drifted off as he tried to grab it. You got to get down, in and after it, and go with it.
Russell, of course, had 2 errors in the first game that allowed 4 unearned runs, and the Phillies won that game by a margin of 7-2. Now the batter will be Garry Maddox, batting for the first time in the series. He takes the first pitch, a called strike, and that's an oddity. Maddox is really a first ball hitter. Right-hand batter, batting .293 for the season, and he leans back as the fastball is in under the chin. 1 ball and 1 strike. Maddox had 14 home runs, 74 runs batted in. Did not play in the first 2 games because of an injury to a knee. And Burt Hooton from the stretch, and the pitch back is swung on and missed, and the knuckle curveball. It's 1-2. Hooton is throwing well. He finished up the year well. He won his last 3 decisions, one of them a 1-0 shutout. He's called happy by Tom Lasorda because he doesn't look that way. And at 1-2, the pitch to Maddox swung on and missed. Good fastball, his first strikeout. And that'll bring up Bob Boone. Boone 1 for 4 in the series. Boone hit .284 in the regular year with 11 home runs and 67 RBIs, a right-hand batter. The son of Ray Boone, a Major League ball player, and a good one. Ron Reed throwing in the bullpen for the Phillies. Earlier, Warren Brewster had been throwing. And here's the pitch that is outside, a slider missing. 1 ball, no strikes. Boone batting 7th in the batting order, so the bullpen is activated in case Danny Ozark, the manager, wants to go to a pinch hitter. The Dodgers leading 2-0. And the pitch back at the knees, a called strike. One ball, one strike. Hooton working quickly. Short lead at first base by Richie Hebner, and the pitch to Boone is lobbed into left center, a base hit. Coming over is Mundy to field it on one hop. Hebner goes to second base and holds there. So now the Phillies have runners at first and second with 2 men out, and the batter coming up is Ted Sizemore. Well, the first 2 games of this series saw a lot of hitting. In the first game, both sides had 9 hits. In the second game, both sides had 9 hits. An oddity in numerology, first 3 games, including the Yankee-Kansas City game, both sides had 9 hits. So the first 3 games of the World Championship Series, every team had 9 hits. And every winning team scored 7 runs. And here's the pitch to Ted Sizemore. It's taken low and outside the ball. Sizemore 1 for 7 in this series. Batted .281 in the regular season with 4 home runs and 47 runs batted in. Game time temperature was 59 degrees. It's not too bad a day. Pitch back to Sizemore, a ball, and the count at 2-0. Runners at first and second base. 2 men out, bottom half of the second. Burt Hooton on the mound, and the right-hander's next pitch is low, and it's ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes. Larry Christenson's in the on-deck circle. He's a good hitting pitcher. Had 3 home runs this year with a grand slammer. Be interesting to see if the bases are loaded, whether or not they would let Christensen stay in the ballgame. And there's ball 4, and Hooton has walked his first batter and walked him on 4 pitches. Bases are loaded, and Christensen is going to bat. He had a grand slam home run earlier.
That wasn't counted as an intentional walk, but Hooton had to be pitching around Sizemore to go after Christensen, even with Christensen's home run.
Well, Christensen still is a pitcher, and he's still got an average of 139, but he has the ability to hit the ball out of the ballpark. He is a big hitter as far as the pitcher's concerned. And now Hooton into the windup. Here's the pitch, and he comes in with a knuckle curve. It's a called strike. Big spot in the ballgame for the Dodgers and Burt Hooton. Probably one of many, as the excitement here is at its peak. And now the pitch back, a big swing and a miss at strike 2. Christensen has hit 6 home runs in his major league career. And at 2 strikes, a pitch by Hooton, the knuckle curve ball, it's too low. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Richie Hebner, the runner at third base. Bob Boone at second base. Ted Sizemore at first as the Phillies threaten. First threat of the ball game for Philadelphia. Now the pitch. And it's grounded foul. Billy DeMars, the third base coach for the Phillies, picks it up, checks it out, and keeps the ball in play as he tosses it to Burt Hooton. Tony Taylor, the coach at first base. He's one of the most popular Philadelphia Phillies ever. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The signs are out. The windup, and here's the pitch. And it's a ball. And Burt Hooton was on his way to the dugout. He thought it was strike 3. So the count now at 2-2. It was close. Harry Windelstadt, the home plate umpire, has really been in this ball game. 2 calls at home, 1 going against the Dodgers and 1 going for the Dodgers, or vice versa. And now Hooton steps off the mound, and he is taking some time as he tries to get his composure back. He thought that was strike 3, and it would have been a big strikeout. Bases loaded. Davey Lopes in to talk to Burt Hooton. This is his first championship series. He started his career with the Cubs and then went to the Dodgers. Now the crowd here warming up, and Hooton looks around, goes into the windup. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and it's inside. It's ball 3. Went to the breaking ball, and now a full count of 3-2, and that's a tough pitch to miss on. 2-2, the important pitch. Now the runners will be going with the windup, or possibly Hooton will not wind up. The runners will be going. So listen to this crowd here as Hooton will work from the set position. They are really trying to get to Burt Hooton. Hooton sets up. Here's the pitch. It is low and ball 4. And the walk forces it a run. The Dodgers now going out to the mound. He wants to pitcher down if he is upset. Hooton certainly thought he had a strikeout. It was called a ball, and then he went on to walk the pitcher to fourth in the run. So the Dodgers lead cut to 2-1, and the batter coming up will be Bake McBride. The bases still loaded.
Ralph Kiner, I don't know when I have ever seen a crowd get involved in a game as this one has. I know you went through the early days of the amazing New York Mets where they reacted very raucously and loudly there, but I don't think I've ever seen this kind of a situation in a deliberate attempt to upset the pitcher.
Philadelphia Philly fans are really old-time baseball fans. The Phillies go back to before the 1900s. Mike Garman is now throwing in the bullpen for the Dodgers, and Harry Wendelstedt coming out to the mound. He wants to get this game going. Phillies in 1915 won the National League Championship. They were beaten in the World Series 4-1. In 1950, they won the National League Championship, lost to the Yankees 4-0. Last year, they won the National League Eastern Division Championship and lost to Cincinnati 3-0. And Tom LaSoda now back to the bench, and Bake McBride stepping in. McBride won, make that 4 for 10 in this series. Left-hand batter, good speed. Hooton working from the windup. Here's the pitch, and a 2-0 curveball. Knuckle curveball just below the knee. Rick Rhoden is also throwing in the bullpen for the Dodgers. Dodgers started during the regular season. Dodgers leading 2-1. The Phillies with the bases loaded. 2 men out. We're in the bottom half of the second inning. And now Hooton into the windup. Here's the pitch. And again he's slow. Again the knuckle curve. 2 balls, no strikes. Once again the signs go down, and Hooton into the windup. The 2-0 pitch. It is swung on and fouled back. And that time Hooton coming back with a fastball. It was a pretty good pitch to hit, but McBride did not make contact. Not enough to get it going the other way, and he fouled it back. So they counted 2 balls and 1 strike. And this crowd trying to intimidate the pitcher, Burt Hooton. And Hooton into the windup. The next pitch is low and inside. It's ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike. And now Hooton holds out both hands as to say, where was it? Hooton certainly unhappy with Harry Wendelstedt. Tom LaSoda, when he walked back to the bench, made a detour near the mound and was talking with Wendelstedt. Now it's 3 balls and 1 strike. The crowd standing up, yelling, screaming. Here's the pitch. It's swung on and fouled back again. And again, that pitch was a good fastball. Letter high, might have been out of the strike zone.
They might be getting to Bake McBride now, Ralph.
Well, one thing for sure, you can hear it. You can hear it in North Philly, South Philly, maybe even in Camden. And again, it's 3-2. This crowd trying to intimidate the pitcher. The runners go, and the pitch is ball 4, and the ball game is tied. 3 walks in a row, and the ball game tied up at 2-2 as Burt Hooton has walked 2 batters with the bases loaded.
This has to be one of the most remarkable circumstances that I have ever seen from a crowd standpoint, trying to intimidate the pitcher, and it's working.
Well, you have about 58,000 people in this ballpark. I don't know how many are Philadelphia Philly fans, but it might be close to 50. And they are making themselves heard. Now the batter coming up is Larry Bowa. Bowa grounded out his first time up. Left-hand batter. And Burt Hooton into the windup. Here's the pitch. He's high with it. Fastball too high for ball 1. The 8th man to bat in this inning. 2 singles and 3 walks. And Bowa now backing out of the batter's box. Now Bowa back in. Tough man to pitch to. He has a small strike zone. And the 1-0 pitch to Bowa is high and outside. It's ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Veteran under any circumstance has a tough time in the championship playoff, but anybody under this circumstance has to be put under tremendous pressure. And the next pitch is low. And it's ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes. And the crowd here enjoying the effect that they are having on this ball game. There is no doubt about it. And it's 3-0. Here's the pitch. Hooton gets the call strike, and Bowa didn't like the call. That was a borderline pitch over the outside corner at the knees, and Bowa was unhappy with the call. That puts it at 3 balls and 1 strike, and this has not been an easy day for Windelstad. And the next pitch back, ball 4. 4 walks the roll, and again Hooton goes with outstretched hands. Where was it? And that is all for Burt Hooton as the Phillies take the lead by a score of 3-2. And you'd have to say that Burt Hooton was certainly unhappy with Harry Windelstad, intimidated by the crowd, and he leaves the ball game, giving up 3 runs so far on just 2 hits. He walked 4, and he holds his hands up to Windelstad as he walks off in disgust. Ralph Kiner, this has to be one of the most unusual circumstances I've ever seen in a baseball game in my life. Pitch myth, as far as Burt Hooton was concerned, when Larry Christenson was up there, has activated 4 successive walks and has forced the young right-hander from Texas, Burt Hooton, out of the ball game. And while we're waiting for the relief pitcher, Rick Rhoden, to come in, here's a brief update from CBS News.
Just in from Lexington, Kentucky, Texas roared down the stretch to overtake favorite Cole Comfort today to win the first heat of the $100,000 Kentucky fraternity. That's the final leg of Trotting's Triple Crown with a career-best 157 3/5. That was at the Red Mile. Texas, driven by veteran Billy Herman, was in 8th place in the 10-horse field down the backstretch before making his move going into the head of the stretch and overtaking Cole Comfort at the wire to win by a length. Cole Comfort, a 9-5 Cole favorite in the 85th fraternity, finished second with long shot Sloman and Jerky Hanover third and fourth respectively. Now the second heat, the best of 3 race, is scheduled to go at any moment, and we'll have something on that as soon as we get word over the wire. Texas, the second choice of the bettors at 8-5, paid $520, $260, and $240 for his victory.
Rick Rhoden, a tall right-hander who at one time suffered from osteomyelitis and has a deformed right leg, is coming on to pitch for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Rhoden taking it up from Burt Hooton during the season. Rhoden was 16-10, a 3.75 earned run average, and was a starting pitcher. Rhoden, during the regular season, started 31 games and did not come in relief at any time. He completed 4, so this, in effect, is Rhoden's first chance as a relief pitcher. Rhoden, a young man out of Florida, had to fight osteomyelitis as a youngster, fought his way back, and became the Dodgers' #1 draft choice back in June of 1971. So he'll be coming on, and he's got himself a lot of trouble. The bases are loaded. Larry Christenson at third base, Bake McBride at second, and Larry Bowa at first. And let's pause 5 seconds right now for station identification. This is the CBS Radio Network.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
Rick Rhoden warming up for Burt Hooton in an unprecedented show of a fan reaction, the likes of which I've never seen in baseball. I've seen it in basketball, I've seen it in football, but I have never seen the fans react as they did to Burt Hooton and actually force him out of the ball game. Let's go back to Ralph Kiner.
And it will not stop now. It will be up to Rick Rhoden to battle the fans and also take on Mike Schmidt. Schmidt popped up to second his first time up, batting for the second time, the 9th man to bat in this inning, as the Phillies have taken the lead by a score of 3-2. All 3 runs scoring on walks to forced in a man from third. And the young Rick Rhoden, with a record of 16-10, looks in for the sign, passes, goes into the windup, and the crowd starts up again. The first pitch is popped up. Playable for the catcher, Steve Yeager. He is under it, and he makes the catch, and the side is retired. So 1 pitch by Rhoden, and the side retired, something that Burt Hooton could not do. In the inning, 3-run score on just 2 hits. There were 4 walks, no errors, and 3 men left on. And the score at the end of 2, the Phillies 3 and the Dodgers 2. Here at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, we've got quite a ball game going. Through 2 innings, 5 runs across the plate. If you just missed it, in the second, the Dodgers got on the board with 1 away. Steve Garvey single. Dusty Baker doubled him home. After 2 were down, Yeager hit a single to right field, bringing in Baker, and there was quite a play at the plate when Yeager tried to score on Burt Hooton's double. And then in the second inning, a remarkable show by the Philadelphia fans, an unusual display after Luzinski singled.
Richie Hebner forced Luzinski at second. Maddox struck out, and then with 2 down, it all began. A single by Boone. Sizemore walked. And then Larry Christenson, on what Burt Hooton thought was a strikeout, was still alive. He drew a walk for 1 run. Another walk to Bake McBride with the fans delirious. And a following walk to Larry Bowa, forcing in the 3rd run. And that was all for Burt Hooton. And I don't know whether to say it was the Dodgers 2 and the fans 3 here in Philadelphia, but that's the way it stands.
I have to believe, Jerry, that the fans have to get credit for something in that circumstance. The Dodgers very good in their home park, but nothing like the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies have won 60 and lost 21 here this year, and that's after losing their first 5 ball games. They had a streak of winning 16 in a row, and you could probably hear why.
Ralph, while we're waiting for Christensen to warm up right now, how would you relate this to the Mets fans back in those early 60s when there was a lot of things going on at Shea Stadium?
Close, but I don't believe anything quite as much as I've seen here today. And also, I was going to ask you the same question, playing in World Series games in Ebbets Field, because the Ebbets Field fans were also very exuberant.
Ebbets Field was like a morgue compared to this, believe me. They were a few of them you could hear across the field, but in general, the World Series at Ebbets Field, even though it was a hotbed of baseball, was not like this. I've never seen this before, and we keep talking about it, but what it really did, it put the Phillies ahead and forced their starting pitcher, the Dodgers starting pitcher, out of the ballgame.
You know, at Ebbets Field, they had a character called Hilda Chester who had a bell, a cowbell that she used to ring. You wouldn't have heard that cowbell here ever with this kind of a noise. Well, Larry Christenson taking his time coming out to the mound, and he'll be taking on Davey Lopes, Bill Russell, and Reggie Smith as his first 3 batters, and the Dodgers behind for the first time. This is what you might call a home stadium advantage. There's no question about it. These Philadelphia Philly fans are not to be denied. Last year, the Cincinnati Reds took the Phillies down 3 straight. But the Philadelphia Philly fans, who set a record this year coming out to watch ball games, some 2,700,000 70 strong and paid customers, out to see their Phillies in a World Championship World Series. Davey Lopes flying out to center field his first time up. He's had 3 hits and 10 times up, batting .300 so far in this series. Dodgers have out-hit the Phillies 4-2, and the check swing ground ball hit out to Richie Hebner at first base, and Lopes is out on 1 pitch. That'll bring up Bill Russell. Russell lined out to the second baseman Sizemore his first time up. Bill has had 2 hits and 10 times up. This is the 3rd game of the series. Christensen was reached for some strong base hits in the 2nd inning. He starts off with a slider that's in the dirt, backhanded out of the dirt by Bob Boone. And the right-hander back, and the next pitch is popped up in the air. The ball in foul territory. Mike Schmidt over by the coach's box is under it, and he makes the catch. So 2 quick outs. That'll bring up Reggie Smith. Reggie struck out his first time up. Christensen, after throwing a couple of changeups, got him with a fastball up around the letters. Smith batting 2 for 9 in this series. Batting from the left-hand side, an outstanding switch hitter. He was voted the most valuable player on the Dodgers squad this year. And the first pitch to Smith, a changeup that swung on a miss, strike 1. Dodgers jumped off to a 7.5 game lead in April. Biggest lead after 1 month of the season by a team. And they had a 14-game lead by July 31st. Next pitch is fouled away, and the count strike 2. So once again, Christensen settling down into a good groove as far as he's concerned.
Ladies and gentlemen, temporarily we have lost the audio portion of the program coming from Veterans Stadium over at CBS. And we'll give you a running account as if we watch it on the TV monitor. A swinging strike, and going down swinging is Reggie Smith. So they go out 1, 2, 3 in the top half of the 3rd inning. So after 2.5, the Dodgers by a score of 3-2. So Christensen gets Lopes, Russell, and Smith in order, winding up, striking out Reggie Smith, a swinging strike. And the audio is back with us, and we'll be going back to Veterans Stadium with it for the home 3rd in just a few moments. Dave Parker, George Foster, and Greg Luzinski, 3 muscular outfielders, were overwhelming selections Friday on UPI's 1977 National League All-Star team. Parker, who led the league with a .338 average at 21 homers, knocked in 8 runs for the Pittsburgh Pirates. He was the only unanimous choice of 25 sports writers who participated in the UPI's annual survey. Foster had a .320 with 52 homers, 149 RBIs, while the Cincinnati Reds received 24 of a possible 25 votes. While Luzinski, whose offensive performance was .309 batting average, 39 homers, 130
RBIs for the Philadelphia Phillies received 23. The trio forms perhaps the hardest hitting, most productive, mythical outfield in National League history. We'll check the other positions next time we have a break.
We're going into the third inning, and Rick Roden, who came on to put out the fire with the bases loaded by popping up Mike Schmidt, is on there now to start off the bottom of the third inning with Luzinski, Hebner, and Maddox coming on. Looking ahead to tomorrow's ballgame, which will start at 8:07 Eastern Daylight Time, it'll be Tommy John and Steve Carlton, the two left-handers, in a repeat performance of that first ballgame, neither of whom were the winning or losing pitcher. The loser in that first game was the reliever Elisa Sosa for the Dodgers, and Tug McGraw got the win. So you can look ahead to that one for tomorrow, and we'll see how this one goes right now with Luzinski coming on and Ralph Kiner back to tell you all about it.
Okay, Greg Luzinski, who singled in the second to get it going for the Philadelphia Phillies, batting for the second time. Rick Roden on the mound, batting against Roden for the first time, and Luzinski takes a high fastball a ball. Roden won 2 and lost none against the Phillies in the regular season as a starting pitcher. He did not relieve all year. Was in 31 games as a starter, won 16 and lost 10. And the right-hander back, and he gets a strike over the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. Luzinski second in the National League in runs batted in. The Foster's 149. Luzinski had 130. And the big right-hand batter fouls off the next pitch, and the count at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ball and 2 strikes, and the shadows again starting to extend out as the sun tries to break through an overcast sky. Temperature right around 60 degrees at game time. And here's the next pitch, a breaking ball too low, and the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Dodgers play Luzinski as a full hitter, and they also play him fairly deep. Now the windup and 2-2 pitch, and it's high and outside, ball 3. 3 balls, 2 strikes. With the bases loaded, Roden came into the ballgame in the second under the most trying of circumstances, and he got his first man out in 1 pitch, Mike Schmidt. Right here, 3-2 to Luzinski, and here's the pitch. And it's ball 4, and the base on balls have become the major factor in this ballgame. That is the 5th base on balls issued by a Dodgers 5th pitcher. Luzinski is on, and Richie Hebner is coming out. If you're Danny Ozark, the manager, in a spot like this, you've got to be telling your players, look, take 1 pitch, make him throw a strike. Make him go down the line. Here's a fellow at bat, but doesn't take many. Richie Hebner grounded into a forced play his first time up. Roden working from the set position for the first time, and here's the pitch. And it's hit in the air to center field. Coming up on the ball is Mundy, now accelerating as he moves in a little bit quicker as he slightly misjudged the ball, but he got to it with the glasses down. Big guide against the sun, and Hebner is out. That'll bring up Garry Maddox, who also is a first ball hitter. Maddox was struck out his first time up, and that was his first appearance in the season. He missed the first 2 games because of an injured knee. Maddox, the right-hand batter. Garvey playing off the bag at first, 2 or 3 steps, as Luzinski does not figure to run, except he has had 1 stolen base in the series. In the regular season, he had 3. And the first pitch by Roden. It is grounded to the third baseman, Cey. He throws the second in time. The relay on the first base is not in time, and Maddox, who can really motor down that line, beats the attempt at the double play. And when he hit that ball, it broke the bat in half, and the head of the bat went about 120 feet into foul territory down the left field line. So Luzinski forced his second, a fast man, replacing him on at first, and Garry Maddox, and the batter coming up will be Bob Boone.
I've commented on that before, Ralph Kiner. I don't believe they're putting the same wood in the bats they did a generation ago. I've seen that happen time and time again, and only in the last 3 or 4 years.
I think you're right. It's a different baseball and a different bat. But they're both round, so it's still a tough game to play. And here's the throw to first base, Maddox back. Maddox had 22 out of 28 stolen bases this year. Give you a round bat and a round ball, and they tell you to hit it square. Again, a throw to first base, and again, Maddox is back. First base umpire, Bruce Froman. Ed Williams said hitting a baseball is the single hardest thing to do in any sport. Now the pitch. And Boone pops it in the shallow center field. Rick Mundy coming up in the ball. He's there, and he makes the catch, and the side retired. No runs, a walk, and 1 man left on in the score. At the end of 3, it's the Philadelphia Phillies 3 and the Los Angeles Dodgers 2.
The rest of the All-Star team picked for the National League, also voted in the club, besides the 3 hitters we mentioned a while ago, with catcher Ted Simmons of the St. Louis Cardinals, first baseman Steve Garvey of the L.A. Dodgers, second baseman Joe Morgan of the Reds, shortstop Gary Templeton, the Cardinals, and third baseman Mike Schmidt of the Phillies. Steve Carlson, the league's leading winner with 23 victories for the Phils, and Tom Seaver of the Reds, who finished the year with a mark of 21-6, were named the starting pitchers, with Bruce Sutter of the Cubs, a lopsided choice, as relief pitcher.
Remember, fans, CBS Radio Sports will bring you the World Series over most of these stations starting October the 11th. That's next Tuesday. Wherever you are, wherever you go, follow the World Series with radio over most of the CBS Radio Network stations. At Veterans Field, here in Philadelphia, the sun has just about reached second base. The outfielders in right, left, and center field will be the ones that will be under the gun as far as fly balls are concerned. The infielders are out of the action now as far as any sun problems are concerned, and as far as hitting, it pretty much is leveled off. The biggest and the most difficult time of the day for a batter is when that shadow is midway between home plate and the mound. You seem as though you're looking into a glaring sun. The ball is hard to pick up, although here at Veterans Stadium they have a delightful background where there is no problem with fans. On the mound right now, taking his warm-up tosses, is Larry Christenson, who had one difficult inning. That was the second. He gave up 4 base hits and 2 runs. He had a runner thrown out at the plate that helped him. He managed to get the first 3 batters, 1, 2, 3 in the first and the third inning. So now he's coming back again to the men that gave him trouble. Cey, Garvey, Baker, Mundy, Yeager, and of course Hooton is out of the ball game. And the pitcher in there will be Rick Roden, who is not a bad hitting pitcher himself. Okay, the action will be continuing shortly now as Ron Cey gets ready, followed by Steve Garvey, and let's bring in Ralph Kiner once again.
Okay, Jerry Coleman. Sparky Anderson, who participated as manager in the past 2 playoff games, championship playoff games, and was the manager of the Cincinnati Reds over the past 2 years as the World Championship Cincinnati Reds, was talking to Danny Ozark about playoff games, and he said playoff games are like having a heart attack. You know you're having it, and you can't do anything about it. Ozark said, I found that out in last year's playoff. Now it's time for Tom Lasorda to find it out. And right now, with this crowd here, I'm sure Tom Lasorda is seeing and hearing something he has never seen before. Ron Cey coming up. Ron grounded out to third his first time up. Right-hand batter, strong right-hand batter, and Christenson with his first pitch, and he throws a curveball for a called strike. Cey is 3 for 8 so far in this series. Dodgers have out-hit the Phillies 4-2, but the Phillies have picked up 5 walks. And the next pitch is out of the strike zone. 1 ball and 1 strike. Ball game is being watched by the governor of Pennsylvania, Milton Scott, as well as about 58,000 people. And a pitch in the dirt, backhanded out of the dirt by Boone, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Cey with that dramatic grand slam home run to tie up the first game, but it will not be remembered too long, I don't believe, because the Dodgers lost. Next pitch is taken low, and it's ball 3. Dusty Baker had a grand slam home run in the second game for the Dodgers. That will be remembered because the Dodgers won that ball game. Won it by a score of 7-1. And the next pitch to Cey is swung on and fouled back out of play. So a full count of 3-2. I'd like to remind you that tomorrow's game, we'll see Tommy John pitching for the Dodgers against Steve Carlson. We'll be on the air Eastern Daylight Time at 8:07. American League has their game tonight at 8:07 Eastern Daylight Time. They'll be playing in Kansas City, the Yankees there, and then on Saturday they'll play before the National League. Saturday they'll be playing at 1:07 Eastern Daylight Time. And the next pitch is lined to left center field. Off and running is Maddox. He can't get to it. It bounces off his glove. Cey will try for 2. The throw by Maddox is not in time, and Cey goes in with a double. Garry Maddox, the center fielder, tried to make that a brilliant catch, but he couldn't quite get to it, and he knocked it down in the half off, and the ball rolled away. So Cey is on at second base, and the batter coming up will be Steve Garvey. Warren Brewster is warming up in the bullpen. Right-hander for the Philadelphia Phillies. Dodgers picking up their 5th hit, and they have the potential time run at second base with no one out. Garvey singled and scored in the second. 4 for 8 in this series. Cey taking some extra time to get the dirt out of his belt buckle and inside of his pants as he made a belly slide into second base, although the play was not close as the throw was offline. Little reaction by the partisan crowd here in Philadelphia. And Christenson sets up. Here's the pitch, and Garvey takes it high and inside. He looked like he was trying to hit behind the runner going out toward right field, but he did not swing. Garvey, an excellent team man. Now Christenson with his next pitch, and again, Garvey looked as though he's trying to hit behind the runner, but Christenson with a good pitch on the inside corner, a tough pitch to hit to right field, and Garvey took it. 1 ball, 1 strike. And the right-hander ready. Here's the pitch, and Garvey takes it high and outside. It's ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike. Larry Christenson from Everett, Washington. 23 years of age, and now his next pitch, and Garvey fouls it back out of play. Count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Garvey led the club in runs batted in during the regular season at 115. And now the pitch is grounded slowly out to the shortstop, Bowa, who goes across the diamond after fielding the ball for a play at first. The ball hits too easily for any play at third, and Cey moves over to third base. So the potential time run is at third with 1 man out, and Dusty Baker, the batter. Dusty doubled in the left center field his first time up to drive in a run. Baker with 5 runs batted in the series. He's had 3 hits and 8 times up. Phillies bring their infield in for a play at the plate, and Christenson working from the set position, and the first pitch is hit down the right field line. It might be trouble. Coming up in the ball is McBride. He had trouble seeing it, and then after a spurt at the last minute, he could not catch up to it, and it dropped in foul territory.
You know, Ralph, the way Danny Ozark has been using his bullpen, the minute that Christenson has been in trouble with a man on, he's had that bullpen going, which makes me wonder if Christenson, even though he had that great record at the end of the year, may be as sharp as he wants to be. It may be that Bob Boone, the catcher, has said something to his manager to have somebody ready just in case.
Well, the Phillies have that good depth in the bullpen. They've had great success with it, so they use it a lot. Owen Brewster now throwing in the bullpen for the Philadelphia Phillies. They have Brewster, Reed, Garver, McGraw. 1 strike count as Christenson goes to the set. Here's the pitch, and it is taken inside. Baker started the swing and held up in time. 1 ball and 1 strike. Ron Cey, the runner at third base. Christenson ready, and the pitch to Baker swung on and fouled back out of play. Good fastball fouled off. 1-2.
One of the interesting highlights about young Larry Christenson is that when he first came up, he gripped the ball too tightly, and he threw darts. His ball didn't move. He's holding it much more loosely now and getting more effect from the fastball.
And at 1-2, the pitch to Baker, a breaking ball just low, on the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Christenson had only 1 shutout in the regular season with 5 complete games while winning 19 and losing 6. And what a finish. 15 of his last 16 decisions went on the plus side. And he won his last 7 straight. And at 2-2, the pitch to Dusty Baker, line but fouled on the left field line. So the count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Christenson worked 219 innings, gave up 229 hits, walked 69, and struck out 118 in the regular season. He gave up 21 home runs. There was a lot of controversy about whether Christenson should have started the second game instead of this one. And again, he sets up for 2-2, and here it comes, and it's lofted into shallow right center field. It'll be a base hit. Ball bouncing high. McBride had to jump to catch it. Holding up at third was Cey to be sure that it would be a base hit, and then he comes in to score. The throw by McBride is not in time. So Baker gets his 6th run batted into the series, and he has tied up the ball game as he singles into right center field. A little lob in there, and Cey scores from third. So it's now a tie game at 3, and the batter coming up will be Rick Monday. Dodgers have their 6th base hit. Phillies have only 2, but they have 5 walks to go with their 2 base hits. 3 of the walks came with the bases loaded to force in 3 runs. Burt Hooton on the mound at the time, and I would have to say that the crowd certainly had a lot to do with the walks as they really brought the roof down. So Baker at first base. Christenson checks him, and here's the pitch, and it's lined down the left field line, but it's curving foul, and it is out of play. Ball deep in the left field corner, foul by 10 or 15 feet. And the crowd here unhappy with Danny Ozark. I think they would like to see a pitching change. Philadelphia Philly fans are deep in the baseball, and they manage.
The base hit that Dusty Baker got, I think, is a classic difference between artificial surface and natural field, because you have to lay back. That ball bounces too far in front of you, it's over your head, and it goes for an inside-the-park home run. And that kept Bake McBride just far enough back, and it gave Baker a chance to score.
Now the pitch back to Mundy, line by the first baseman, almost hits Baker. He had to hold for a second. He goes to second base and holds there. McBride fields the ball and gets it back in. So Mundy with a hard single to right field, and the crowd now clamoring for the removal of the pitcher, Larry Christenson. And here comes the manager of the Philadelphia Phillies, Danny Ozark. Danny Ozark, the manager of the Philadelphia Phillies. And he has made the sign, and that is all for Larry Christenson. Larry working through 3 1/3 innings. So far charged with 3 runs on a total of 7 base hits. He struck out 2 and walked none. And Warren Brewster, the new pitcher in the ballgame. And Christenson, a 19-game winner with 6 losses, goes off the mound, and he gets a hand here from the partisan crowd. Brewster, coming in the ballgame, had a record of 7 wins and 2 losses with 3 saves. And in the regular season, Brewster appeared in 46 games, all in relief. He spells his name B-R-U-S-S-T-A-R. So Brewster coming in the ballgame in place of Larry Christenson, and he'll be working to Steve Yeager, the catcher.
The only pitcher to really master the other team thus far in the first 3 games here in the National League Championship Playoff Series was Don Sutton, although he pitched a 9-hitter. The other night he allowed the Phillies only 1 run. He went all the way for the complete game victory. The first game, Tommy John and Steve Garvey started, but failed to go the route. And in this game, we have already had both starting pitchers out of the ball game. Burt Hooton lasted only an inning and 2/3, giving up a couple of hits and 3 runs. And the 3 runs were walked in on a base on balls, as Hooton was forced into 4 successive walks. That could be a World Series record. Larry Christensen has gone 3 1/3, giving up 7 hits. 3 runs so far. He could be charged with 2 more. Struck out a couple, but he did not walk a man. And now we've got a new one in there, Warren Brewster, who is also the first repeat pitcher in this championship series. No other pitcher has been in 2 ball games, and now Brewster becomes the first.
Brewster worked 2 innings in a ball game won by the Dodgers 7-1, the second game of the series. He gave up 1 run on 2 hits and struck out 2. Brewster was born in Oakland, California. He lives in Napa, California, the home of all that great California wine. Or not all of it, but some of it anyway. He was the Phillies' 4th selection in the secondary phase of the 1974 draft. He was signed by a former major leaguer, Eddie Buckman. Started pitching minor league ball in 1974. He was a graduate of Napa Junior College. He attended Fresno State for many years, and one of the members of Fresno State, Tom Seaver, along with many others. As a matter of fact, they have turned out quite a few outstanding ball players. First pitch is off of the glove of Bob Boone, a fastball, and the runners move up on the pass ball. This was an inside fastball and popping out of the glove of Boone, and the runners move on over. So that could be a big play in the ball game as Dusty Baker goes to third and Rick Mundy on down to second. First base is now open. We'll see whether or not they'll be pitching to Steve Yeager. The pitcher, Rick Rhoden, is due up next. No action in the bullpen for the Dodgers. High ball game at 3. And the infield is in, and the next pitch is outside. They're going to walk him. Walk to set up a possible double play, and the pitch outside for ball 3. Rhoden's a pretty good hitter at .231 with 3 home runs in the regular season and 12 runs batted in. So it's not going to be an easy task for Brewster as the next pitch is outside for an intentional walk. That's the first walk for the Dodgers in the ball game, and the Phillies have had 5. Rick Rhoden, the right-hand batter, the Dodger infield back for 2, and the first pitch is swung on and missed at strike 1. Rhoden batted .300 for the Dodgers last year. One of their outstanding Dodger hitting pitchers was Don Drysdale, had a 300-year one. Pitches next outside, and they counted 1 ball and 1 strike. Walter Johnson was one of the greatest hitting pitchers. Best home run hitter for a pitcher was Wes Farrell, the brother of Rick, who had 38 in a single year. And there's a drive into right center field that might score a run. Baker comes over to catch it, coming in to try and score. As Baker, here comes the throw. It's in time, and the tag is made by Boone as Baker tries to bowl him over, and that is the second man thrown out of the plate by the Philadelphia Phillies. And it retires the side. A standing ovation for Bob Boone as Baker's throw from right center field was extremely accurate. In the inning, 1 run on 3 hits and 2 men left on base. And the score at the end of 3.5 innings, it's the Dodgers 3 and the Phillies 3.
Dale Earnhardt toured the Charlotte Motor Speedway at 154.630 miles per hour Friday to lead 6 Chevrolet drivers in the final qualifying for Sunday's $250,000 National 500 NASCAR race at Charlotte, North Carolina. Earnhardt will start his Chevrolet in the 36th spot in the 41-car field. Other qualifiers in order were Butch Hartman, Roland Walatka, Jimmy Means, Cecil Gordon, and Tig Scott.
So far in the ball game here at Veterans Stadium, it's all even at 3 as we go to the last half of the 4th inning, but the Dodgers have come a cropper at home plate in the 2nd inning. Steve Yeager was cut down trying to score on a play that went from Luzinski to Schmidt to the catcher Boone. And then here in this inning, a line drive out to the right fielder, Bake McBride, who one-hopped it into Boone again, who made, I thought, a spectacular grab, a one-handed tag with his catching glove. And he nailed Baker trying to commit from third base. So the Dodgers have had 2 men nailed at the plate, and one did just get in under the slide, and that was Steve Garvey. So they've had a lot of action at home plate, and Harry Wendelstedt, the home plate umpire, will be happy to get out of the hot seat after today's ball game. He's had some work before, and we're only in the 4th inning.
He has really been involved in this ball game. 3 decisions at home, and also he was in the middle of the walk by Burt Hooton, and Hooton thought for sure that he had struck out the pitcher and was out of the inning when the ball was called a ball, and he had to continue to pitch, and he went on to walk Larry Christenson, that forced in a run. He went on to walk Bake McBride, that forced in a run. He went on to walk Larry Bowa, that forced in a run. Ron Reed is now throwing in the bullpen for the Philadelphia Phillies as Rick Rhoden completes his warm-up pitches. Ted Sizemore to lead off. Tommy Hutton is in the on-deck circle. So Brewster, used for just a short period, appears to be going out of the ball game, and the Phillies will go to their strong, hard-throwing right-hander, Ron Reed. Sizemore walked his first time up on 4 pitches. That got it going for the Philadelphia Phillies, and Sizemore batting for the first time against Rick Rhoden, and the pitch to him is high for ball 1. Dodgers have out-hit the Phillies 7-2, but walks count. Frankie Frisch, the old manager, used to say, "Oh, those bases on balls." And a pitch for a strike. It's 1-1. And Sizemore tries to bunt it. It's a good one. Lopes charging, bare hands it, throws to first base in time to Garvey, and a fine play by Davey Lopes. Sizemore did his job, but the Dodgers anticipating the play, and Lopes coming in from a shallow position with great speed to bare hand the ball. He had to hurry, and he did make the play. So Sizemore bunts out, and that'll bring up Tommy Hutton. Hutton, a one-time member of the Dodger organization, was traded away. The Dodgers had enough first basemen at that time. Hutton in the regular season hit at .309. He had 2 home runs, 11 runs batted in. 0 for 2 in this series, and he takes the first pitch, a called strike. Hutton was a pinch hitter in the second game and flied out to left field. In the first game, he went in defensively and batted once, and did not have a base hit. The next pitch by Roden is in the dirt, and it bounces away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Tie ball game at 3. Bottom half of the 4th inning. And Rick Roden's next pitch. Fastball that's outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Now the signs are out, and the next delivery on the way, and it's popped up on the third base side. Moving back is Ron Cey. He's being run off the play by the shortstop, Bill Russell, and Russell puts it away for 2 men away. That'll bring up Bake McBride. McBride has walked the 4th in a run, 7 RBI, his second of the series. And, of course, he gets a hand for the fine throw that cut down Rusty Baker trying to score the go-ahead run in the top of the 4th inning. McBride 4 for 10, batting .400 in this championship series. LCS, they call it, League Championship Series. And Roden into the windup, and here's the pitch to McBride, a hard ground ball right at Russell at shortstop. He fields it on the artificial turf and lobs it over to first base, where it's taken by Garvey, and the side retired in order. And the score at the end of 4, the Dodgers 3 and the Phillies 3.
More auto racing news. British Formula One driver Ian Ashley was flown to a hospital with his legs and wrist broken today after his racing car became airborne in qualifying for the Grand Prix of Canada, colliding with a folding setup for an unmanned trackside television camera. Ashley was stuck in the car for 45 minutes before he was taken to the track hospital, from where he was flown by helicopter to Toronto's Sunnybrook Hospital. He was conscious and in stable condition.
The 2 pitching staffs, Philadelphia and the Los Angeles Dodgers. When the Phillies starter got in trouble, they went to their bullpen. Warren Brewster came in for only 2/3 of an inning, and now another man from the bullpen, Ron Reed, moving in to pitch the 5th inning against Los Angeles. When the Dodgers got into trouble early for long relief, they went to one of their starters, Rick Roden. The Dodger bullpen has not been as effective as Tommy Lasorda would like, and therefore he has talked about using both Roden and Doug Rao, a left-hander, in the bullpen, and now Roden is in that ball game. We'll have to see how it develops. We've gone through 4. We're all even. Dodgers 3 runs, 7 hits, no errors. Phillies 3 runs, 2 hits, and no errors. Now let's bring in Ralph Kiner.
Okay, Jerry Coleman. Reed had a record of 7 wins and 5 losses in a regular season with 15 saves. He had an earned run average of 2.76, and he was in 60 ball games. In this series, he has appeared once before. He went 2 innings, gave up no runs on 2 hits while striking out 2 and walking 1. And Reed will be working to the second baseman, Davey Lopes. Lopes 3 for 11 in the series, 0 for 2 in this ball game. And Reed, who throws a good changeup along with a sidearm fastball and a slider and curve, starts off with an overhand fastball this time for ball 1. Throws the ball from all around. Basketball player at Notre Dame, also played with the Detroit Pistons. And the next pitch is swung on and missed. It's 1-1. The crowd has quieted down since that raucous second inning. And the next pitch is hit hard to the shortstop, Larry Bowa. He gets in front of it, slingshots the ball to first base, and Davey Lopes the quick out. Now it's Bill Russell coming up. Russell lined to second and fouled out. It's 2 times up. Bill with 2 hits and 11 times up. Wind is no factor in this ball game, and it seldom is in this stadium. It's an enclosed circular stadium. And first pitch to Russell, a called strike. 330 down each line, 371 in the power alleys, and 408 in straightaway center field. The fence is 12 feet high. And it's artificial turf. Next pitch is lobbed out and back a third, and coming hard is Luzinski. He lets it drop in front of him as he plays the safety hop. And going into second base with a double is Bill Russell. So Luzinski, and we got artificial turf here, afraid to take the chance of trying to come in and shoestring it, and if he misjudged it on the shoestring, if it gets by, it's got to be inside the park. It's a whole new ball game when you play on artificial turf. Fences were lower here in the early days of Veterans Stadium. They raised the fences to 12 feet, hoping to keep the ball in play. When the balls would go to the outfield, they would bounce over the fence for grounds rules doubles, and they would lose 3 base hits. Now the first pitch to Reggie Smith, who is 0 for 2, is taken for a ball. Reggie 2 for 10 in the series. And the pitch back to the left-hand batter, the changeup, but it's out of the strike zone. 2 balls and no strikes. Dodgers with 8 hits, the Phillies have had 2. And the game is tied at 3. Reed's next pitch is swung on a miss, and a fastball missed that time. 2 balls and 1 strike. Reggie steps out of the batter's box. Now gets back in, holds the bat very high. Came to the Dodgers from the St. Louis Cardinals. And the next pitch is hit foul into the stands on the left field side, so they counted 2 balls and 2 strikes. Reggie batted .307 in the regular season with 32 home runs and 87 RBIs. A versatile person. He flies his own airplane, gourmet cook, does about anything he wants to. Now at 2-2, Reed's next pitch. Fastball high and inside, and the count full now. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The on-deck batter, Ron Cey. Smith started his career with the Boston Red Sox. Has one of the great arms in baseball history. 3-2 the count. Here's the pitch, and it's a check swing, and Reggie Smith is called out by home plate umpire Harry Wendelstadt. Smith checks to see whether or not it was a swinging strike or a called strike. Wendelstadt again in a controversy, and that strikeout the 3rd time that Reggie has gone back to the bench with the bat in his hand. First strikeout for Reed, and with 2 men out, the batter will be Ron Cey. They had a double his last time up. He's 1 for 2. Right-hand batter. And the first pitch, a fastball high, ball 1. They're giving credits on the message board for all the media coverage, radio and TV-wise, and it'll take about 20 minutes to get all the names up there. This thing is really being covered. They swings at the next pitch, a fastball, 1 ball, 1 strike. Ball game at 3. The Dodgers with a runner at second base, Bill Russell there. 2 men away. We're in the top of the 5th inning. And the pitch, it is fouled back out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Dodgers led 2-0 after 1.5 innings. The Phillies led 3-2 after 2. And the Dodgers tied it up with a run in the 4th. Next pitch to Cey is up high. And the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Once again, the signs are out, and a 2-2. The pitch by Reed. Cey checks his swing and fouls the ball off on the first base side. Grounded out to the right side. And it remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ron Reed started his career as a starting pitcher for the Atlanta Braves. In 1969, he won his high in the Major Leagues, 18, as Atlanta became the Western Division champions and lost to the Mets. And a swing and a miss, and Cey is struck out, and that ends the inning. Reed getting his first 2 strikeouts of the ball game. No runs, 1 hit. A man left at second, and the score at the end of 4.5 innings. The Dodgers 3 and the Phillies 3.
Well, this is a ball game that belongs now to the relief pitchers. Larry Christenson, Warren Brewster, and Ron Reed have been in there for Philadelphia. And for the Dodgers, Burt Hooton and Rick Rhoden. And for those of you who may have missed the histrionics in that second inning with Burt Hooton on the mound for the Dodgers, he was sailing right along. Gave up a single to Greg Luzinski, but he got Hebner, forcing Luzinski a second. Then he struck out Garry Maddox, and then a single to Bob Boone. And then it all started. He walked Ted Sizemore, loading the bases. Larry Christenson, the pitcher, came on, and on a questionable call, it seemed to upset Hooton. He walked off the mound and started talking to himself, and for some reason, this seemed to activate the fans here at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, because Christenson, amid the roaring of the crowd, drew a base on balls to drive in 1 run. Then following walks to McBride and Bowa, And suddenly, the Phillies had moved ahead 3-2. The Dodgers have since tied it, and that's where we stand right now.
So right here in Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, as the evening starts to come into its own, this ball game started with the sun shining brightly, but the lights are starting to take some effect, and as we move into the twilight, not necessarily to take you to the twilight zone, but to take you through the ball game, here's Jerry Coleman.
Okay, Ralph Kiner, Larry Bowa, Mike Schmidt, and Greg Luzinski are coming on. The Phillies, although they have 3 runs and the game is tied at 3 apiece, have only a couple of base hits. Luzinski and Boone, singles in the second inning, have been hit. Rick Rhoden in relief of Burt Hooton now on the mound for the Dodgers, and the tall right-hander is ready with the first one. It's on the way to Bowa. Fouled off, strike one. Larry Bowa bounced to short and drew a base on balls, and it was his walk that forced Burt Hooton out of the ball game and brought in Rhoden, who retired the side on one pitch to Mike Schmidt. A dramatic ball game thus far. A key ball game. Tomorrow it's Carlton and John. Bowa started a bunt, pulls his bat away, and takes it low and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ron Cey is very tight at third base, looking for the possible bunt. Bill Russell is shortstop. Dave Lopes at second. Steve Garvey at first. All very shallow. Bowa with good speed. Waiting, and the pitch on the way by Rhoden is outside. 2 balls and a strike. The outfield shading to the left side. Dusty Baker left field. Rick Mundy in center. Reggie Smith in right. A huge gaping hole in right center. Here's a 2-1 pitch to Bowa. Pops it up and comes back into the stands out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bowa had 4 home runs this year, matching his entire Major League output the first 7 years. He has a total of 8 now. Bowa waiting. Rhoden checking him out. Bowa is 2 for 9 in the action. Waits for the next one and pops it foul again. That's over the Dodger dugout into the crowd. The count stays 2 balls and 2 strikes. Phillies, after Bowa, will send up their big guns, Mike Schmidt and Greg Luzinski. Yeager, the Dodger catcher, has the sign down. Rhoden is reading him. He's into the windup. The right-hander's 2-2 pitch to Bowa. 1 ground rate. Great play on a backhanded grab by the shortstop, Bill Russell. That looked like it was headed for left field. Russell dashing into the hole, backhanded it, and hauled it in for an outstanding play. Bowa's out of there on a line drive to the shortstop. Bill Russell came up with a dandy. Bowa's gone 1 away, 5th, and that'll bring on Mike Schmidt. Schmidt has not been the hitter in this playoff series that he was a year ago. He is 1 for 11 overall. Mike from the right side waits, and the fastball almost hit him as he backed away for ball 1. Schmidt with a total of 38 home runs. 3 years prior to this, he led the National League in homers, but this year, George Foster with 52 took it away. The next pitch on the way to Schmidt is inside. 2 balls and no strikes. Schmidt in the playoffs last year against Cincinnati was the one shining light for Philadelphia. He batted .308. Right now he is struggling, trying to come up with some hits. 3-3 tie, bottom of the 5th. As Schmidt takes low and inside, and Rhoden has gone 3 balls and no strikes. Veterans Stadium, Philadelphia. Cloudy, overcast day now. It started that way, then the sun came out, and now the clouds are appearing again. A 3-0 delivery, and it's good for a strike, 3-1. 3 balls, 1 strike, 1 down. Ron Reed for Philadelphia, Rick Rhoden for the Dodgers are the pitchers of record. Both starters out of the ball game. The 3-1 pitch on the way to Schmidt, and it's inside, ball 4. The second walk given up by Rhoden. He has not allowed a base hit, but he has walked 2 men. He walked Luzinski in the 3rd, and now opening up with 1 down here in the 5th inning, he walks Mike Schmidt. Luzinski, who has 1 for 1, a single and a base on ball. The Bull put the Phils on the board at Dodger Stadium with a booming home run in the 1st inning. He's in there right now, and the throw is taken outside. A snap throw by Yeager to first, and Schmidt gets back. Schmidt stole 15 bases this year. He's got good speed, possibly one of the greatest big athletes going in baseball today. He can do it all. He can run, he can throw, he can field, he can hit, and hit for power. So Schmidt on at first base, Garvey holding against him. Infield swung way off to the left. Lopes well toward second as Luzinski waits. Here's Rhoden's delivery, and it's in there. 1 ball, 1 strike, a hard slider, got the outside corner. Schmidt with 15 stolen bases this year is on at first base. He was cut down 8 times. A 1-1 count as Roden steps back off the rubber. Checks the runner at first. Dodgers 3 runs, 8 hits. The Phillies 3 runs and 2 hits. Here's the pitch to Luzinski, and it's high and inside. 2 balls and a strike. Roden is ready again. He checks Schmidt at first. Luzinski waiting, and the pitch on the way to Greg is fouled back. Another slider. He got a piece of that one. 2 balls and 2 strikes. It looks like Elias Sosa is throwing in the Dodger bullpen now with Roden, having given up a walk to Mike Schmidt. Although Roden has not given up a base hit. In this ball game, it is such a critical ball game to both teams that both managers, Tommy Lasorda of the Dodgers, Danny Ozark of the Phillies, are at hair trigger when it comes to their pitchers. The first moment they get into trouble, they try another man. Roden, a long look at Yeager. Fans, you can hear them starting to come. And now Roden steps back off the rubber. It was a situation something like this in the second inning that forced Burt Hooton out, and the fans are starting to come to life again. The 2-2 pitch is popped up. Third baseman Ron Cey in foul territory is under it and grabs it for the second out. So Rick Roden did not succumb to the fans here on that pitch. He nails Greg Luzinski, a big out. Now Richie Hebner, left-hand batter, is going to hit. Hebner bounced to second base. He flied to center field. He's gone 0 for 2, and he has scored a run. Hebner overall in the series is 2 for 7. When Dave Cash played out his option and went on his way to Montreal, Hebner came over from Pittsburgh and ended up at first base, and then the Phillies managed to trade for Ted Sizemore from the Dodgers. And, of course, Sizemore batting on the 8th spot in this lineup today and going against his old teammates. 3-3 tie, last of the 5th, 2 down. Hebner waiting. Roden, a long set, and the delivery to Hebner. It's hit high to right field, but not deep. Reggie Smith drifting in. He's under it, and he has it for the final out here in the 5th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. A man left. We've gone through 5. It's the Dodgers, 3 runs, 8 hits. The Phillies, 3 runs, 2 hits.
With relations between the two clubs strained because of Thursday evening's hard slot incident at second base, the New York Yankees and Kansas City Royals sent their top right-handers to the mound Friday night in the 3rd game of the American League playoffs. Mike Torres, the choice of Billy Martin of the Yankees to start. We even the series at 1 game apiece with that victory on Thursday, while Dennis Leonard was manager Whitey Herzog's pick to start for the Royals. They began in Kansas City with heavy rain falling for more than 12 hours, but the rain stopped in the early afternoon. The grounds crew had the artificial surface at Royal Stadium in perfect condition. If the game will begin, we won't know that for a few hours yet. Overcast skies right now, temperatures in the 50s, 80% chance of rain. So that's the story of that one. And the story of our game is all tied up after 5, 3-3. Both starting pitchers are now in the shower or in the dugout or watching in the shower room on television.
Time of year you often hear baseball fans saying, wait till next year. And while your favorite team is planning for 1978, you should too by ordering season tickets. Now is the time when the best locations are available for your family or business. So if you missed any of baseball's excitement this past season, act now and ensure choice seats for all of the fun of 1978. You'll find yourself saying, I just can't wait till next year. Proceeding has been brought to you on behalf of Major League Baseball. Well, it's been a strange game. It's the Dodgers 3 and the Phillies and their fans 3. The Phillies fans certainly into the act as they got in and cheered their team on to a leading position. Right now we're going back to the action, and once again, Jerry Coleman.
Steve Garvey, Dusty Baker, and Rick Monday coming on against the giant right-hander Ron Reed, who goes in at 6-6, and Garvey's first swing at a fastball is missed for strike one. Garvey, right-hand batter, 1 for 2 in this ball game and 4 for 9 overall. The next one by Reed, a breaking ball in the dirt. Outfield, well over to the left side. Luzinski in left, Maddox in center. Bake McBride in right field. The infield is deep at all spots. Here's Reed again. And the delivery. Foul back. A ball and 2 strikes. Mike Schmidt, the third baseman. Shortstop Larry Bowa. Ted Sizemore at second. Rich Hebner at first, and Bob Boone doing the catching. Reed is the third Philly pitcher in relief of Warren Brewster, who picked it up for Larry Christenson. Garvey waits, and the 1-2 delivery just off the corner. Reed thought he had it. The plate umpire didn't give it to him. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Steve Garvey, the only man to play in every Dodger ball game this year, waits for another. The 2-2 pitch is chopped to the shortstop. 2 big hops. Bowa gets a big bill out of it. The quick throw to first, and Garvey's gone 6-3. Today's paid attendance, 63,719. That may set a new record. We're going to check it up. It's right up there. If it isn't a new record, it's the second highest all-time here at Veterans Stadium. Dusty Baker is moving in. He has doubled and singled, scored a run, has driven in 2. Right-hand hitter against the right-handed Reed, and the delivery. Hit high to center field. That'll be a routine play for Garry Maddox. Maddox is holding his ground and has it for the second out. So Reed goes through the first 2 batters in the 6th inning. 2 up and 2 down. All right, here's Rick Monday stepping in. Monday fly to center field and single to right. And on the board, a welcome to CBS Radio Network broadcasters Ralph Kiner and Jerry Coleman, and we're certainly delighted to be here. The 63,719 falls a couple hundred short of a new all-time record. It's the second highest ever. They pitched to Rick Monday. The first one by Ron Reed, low, ball 1. 1-0, 2 outs, nobody on. Top of the 6th inning, a 3-3 tie. This is the game that both clubs figure they have to win. The 1-0 delivery to Monday. Swung on and missed. 1 ball, 1 strike. Rick Monday has had some severe back problems, but talking to him before the game today, he said, I am 100%. And Monday so far in the action has not done too badly. Got 2 hits and 6 trips in the 2 games that he's played. Left-hand hitter, a veteran, started with the Kansas City Athletics and on to the Cubs, and now here with the Dodgers. The 1-1 pitch, and Monday takes it for strike 2. And the Dodger bullpen is going full bore right now. Charlie Huff, a knuckleballer, and a curveballing Doug Rowell from the left side starting to throw. The 1-2 pitch to Monday. Fouled off and just off to the right of our booth, and I think my microphone just went dead. If my microphone didn't go dead, my earplug certainly did. I can't hear a thing. All right, Rick Monday now is out there. The count of ball at 2 strikes, 2 down. Here's Reed's delivery, and the 1-2 pitch is taken outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jim Gilliam coaching at first base, and Preston Gomez, a former manager for the San Diego Padres and the Houston Astros, at third. The 2-2 delivery on the move, and it's outside, making 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3-2 the count. 2 down, nobody on. Monday trying to give the Dodgers a start here in the 6th inning. Behind him, the catcher, Steve Yeager. The next pitch to Monday is high for ball 4, and down to first base goes Rick Monday. So Monday on with 2 down here in the 6th inning, and the catcher, Steve Yeager, getting ready to move in. Roden is the following hitter behind Yeager. Gene Garber, slow curveballing right-hander, throwing in the Philadelphia bullpen. Behind Garber, they still have Tug McGraw if they need him, so the Phillies very rich in bullpen depth. Yeager in the ballgame has singled and had an intentional walk. Throw to first base, Monday's back, and the throw to first almost got by Hebner. If you missed it, today's paid attendance, 63,719. Another throw to first, and Monday's back again. right, Rick Mundy with the lead, maybe about 8 feet off, edging up towards second base. Yeager waiting at the plate. A dangerous batter. He's not an average hitter, but he can hit the long ball every now and then. Another throw to first, and Mundy gets back again. It's a 3-3 tie. We are in the top of the 6th inning. Dodgers are batting here at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. Ron Reed throws to first again. 4th time he's gone over there. Let's pause 5 seconds for station identification. This is the CBS Radio Network.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
SPN to
All right, Reed with the set. Delivers ground ball to third, deep in the corner. The play by Schmidt to second. They got him. An outstanding play by Mike Schmidt right on the line, deep at third base. Nails Mundy at second base. That went 5-4 if you're keeping book with us. No runs, no hits, and a man left after 5.5. Dodgers 3, Philadelphia 3.
The University of Colorado hopes its rare appearance among the top 10 ranking can become a habit. Looks to improve its record on Saturday by stopping Oklahoma State's Terry Miller. Colorado coach Bill Mallory believes that Miller is the finest running back in the nation. Miller leads the nation's rushers right now with just over 160-yard average in 4 games. He has carried 104 times for 637 yards and 6 touchdowns. Miller is Oklahoma State's lone offensive threat, though, situation reflected in their 2-2 record this season. Top-ranked USC, by the way, will risk its unbeaten record against once-beaten number 8 Alabama this weekend. Second-ranked Michigan will visit old rival Michigan State. Number 3 Oklahoma faces number 4 Texas. And 6th-ranked Ohio State takes on Purdue in a Big Ten battle. Other games, 7th-ranked Nebraska tackles Kansas State. They're big favorites there. And number 10 California tackles Washington State. Pedro Barbon, the Cincinnati Reds ace relief pitcher, pleaded innocent Friday to 2 assault charges, was ordered to appear in court again next Tuesday for a preliminary hearing. Barbon's lawyer, John J. Kelly Jr., entered innocent pleas on behalf of Barbon at Friday's arraignment in Cincinnati before Hamilton County Criminal Court Judge Robert Blackmore. Barbon stood silently while the lawyer entered the pleas. Barbon, released on his own recognizance pending Tuesday's 9 a.m. preliminary hearing, later refused to comment to news reporters. Also, Kelly noted Barbon was under contract to pitch winter ball, and today he hoped further court session would be delayed so Barbon could immediately return to his Dominican Republic home. Barbon must remain for the preliminary hearing.
I'd like to remind you that the American League playoff game will be on tonight at 8:07 Eastern Daylight Time with Ed Martin, along with Ernie Harwell. Yankees against Kansas City in Kansas City. And then tomorrow afternoon, the American League game will be at 1:07 Eastern Daylight Time, and we'll be on the air Saturday night at 8:07. It'll be Tommy John against Steve Carlton in that ball game tomorrow night. We're all set to go. It's the bottom half of the 6th. It's a tie ball game at 3, and coming back in for the play-by-play, Jerry Coleman.
And Garry Maddox, Bob Boone, and Ted Sizemore are going up against Rick Roden, who has done a brilliant job for the Dodgers. He has gone 3 1/3 innings, has not given up a hit, and has walked 2. The first pitch to Maddox, right at the Adams apple, misses inside, ball 1. Garry Maddox in the ball game, struck out, and he bounced to third. Maddox is one of the men that the Phillies like to get on. He's got that big speed. He can run. Wide spread stance from the right side, waiting, chokes up about an inch, and hits one to center field straightaway. Rick Mundy will have no trouble with this. He's under it, grabs it, and we've got one gone here in the bottom of the 6th. Garry Maddox on a fairly routine fly ball to center field is out of there for the first out in the bottom of the 6th, and now Bob Boone steps in, the catcher. Boone singled and fly to center. Gene Garver, the right-hander, continues in the Philly bullpen. Behind Boone, it's Sizemore and then Reed. So Reed will fall in the event that he gets up to hit in this inning. The first pitch to Boone, swung on a miss, strike 1. Dodgers 3 runs, 8 hits. The Phillies 3 runs and only 2 hits. Roden again, checking out his catcher Yeager. And the pitch on the way to Bob Boone. It's right in there on the corner. No balls and 2 strikes. Bob, a native of San Diego and the son of a great hitting shortstop third baseman for Cleveland and Detroit, Ray Boone, who now scouts for the Boston Red Sox. The 2-strike pitch to Bob is low and inside. Ball 1, strike 2. That's got to be the toughest thing in the world, to follow your father, who was a great Major League hitter. Ray Boone could hit that ball. Did it for many years in the American League, over a dozen. And now Bob following in his footsteps. The 1-2 pitch to Bob, a hard drive center field base hit. Bob Boone comes up with a first hit off of Roden and only the third for the Phillies in the ball game. Tim McCarver has moved into the on-deck circle, so he'll be batting for Ron Reed, provided Sizemore doesn't pop into a double play. A 3-3 tie. We're in the last half of the sixth inning. Rick Roden blowing on his hand. In this type of weather, they'll allow you to do that. Normally, you cannot do it. You have to have permission from the umpires. The first pitch on the way to Sizemore, swung on a miss, strike one. Ted walked and scored a run in the second inning. Then he tried to bunt for a base hit, pushing it out towards second, and Lopes made a fine play to get him. Sizemore, a little guy, formerly with the Dodgers, waiting. Here's Roden's delivery to Ted. It's chopped away on the left side. No balls and 2 strikes. Lance Rotson, a left-hander, throwing down on the Dodger bullpen along with another left-hander, Doug Rao. So Rao, a more experienced pitcher, one of those cutie kind of a guys who try to get you an off-speed stuff and set you up for a fastball that isn't all that fast, but looks better than it is. And Rotson, not a bad throwing left-hander, but a rookie. 3-3 tie, sixth inning. Phillies have a runner at first base. Sizemore apparently broke his bat, is going to get another one, and he comes out to take his shot. Roden now checks out his catcher, Steve Yeager. Elias Sosa now gets up in the Dodger bullpen. They got half the staff throwing down there. Here's the 2-strike pitch to Sizemore, low and outside, and a good play by Yeager on a ball that was almost a wild pitch. Yeager is one of the few catchers who loves his work. He loves exactly what he's doing. He likes to catch. He likes the body contact. He likes the hard work. He likes to put on those so-called tools of ignorance. And believe me, if you can catch and you can throw as Yeager can, you've got a job in the big leagues for 15 years. A ball and 2 strikes. Boone, who is not an overly fast man, on at first base, waiting. Here's Roden's pitch on the way to Sizemore, low this time. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tony Taylor dancing around at first base. He's the coach for the Phillies, yelling out to Bob Boone. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. In a spot like this, some managers will try the hit and run. Let's see what the Phillies do. Sizemore waiting, and the throw goes to first base. Roden looking for something. Garvey holding against Boone. The infield playing very shallow. Sizemore is not a fast man, nor is Boone, but you've got to come in, especially if that man may be going. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 down. Roden ready again. The pitch to Sizemore is popped back out of play into the seats. We're going to go at it again. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Sizemore, a one-time Rookie of the Year, played only 1 year for the Dodgers before being traded off to the St. Louis Cardinals for Richie Allen. Later, the Dodgers got him back and traded him to the Phillies. So Sizemore has had a checkered career from a standpoint of continuity with one club, but he's a fine ball player, a heady ball player who knows what to do. All right, Roden is again ready. Here's the pitch to Sizemore. Loop foul on the right side. That'll reach the seats. No chance for Smith to get to it. Lance Rotson and Elias Sosa throwing down on the Dodger bullpen. And Barry Foote, a reserve catcher for the Phillies, is warming up in the bullpen. Could be that if there's a move made here, it could be a flip-flop by Danny Ozark. We'll have to see how the dust settles. But right now, Sizemore, with a count of 2 balls, 2 strikes, he's got a runner at first base and 1 down. Bottom of the 6th, a 3-3 tie. Here's the pitch. Chopped away foul, and Sizemore and Roden having some battle out there. Well, Roden got the ball and bounced it on the AstroTurf like it was a basketball and said, hey, let me try another one. Baseballs are built to specification, but they're not all the same. And more than likely, a pitcher will get a ball that just doesn't have that feel. Maybe the seam doesn't feel right. Maybe it feels heavy in his hand, and he'll say, hey, let's try another one until he gets one that he's satisfied with. The pitcher can ask for a new ball. The hitter can ask for the umpire to look at the ball, but not for a new one unless the umpire throws it out. All right, the Philly fans coming to life again. Sizemore waits. Here's a pitch by Roden. Ground ball to third, and great play by Cey. The throw to first, not in time. Base hit.
Real good backhand play by Ron Cey as he went far to his right side to backhand it in foul territory. His momentum was taking him away from the field. He threw over to first base. It was not a hard throw. A one-hop throw to first, and Sizemore beat it out. So now the Phillies are going to the bench as they have runners at first and second and one man out. Here as they bat in the bottom of the sixth inning.
Left-hand hitting Tim McCarver is coming on. McCarver this year batted .320 and has a pinch hitter 9 for 36, which is an even .250 batting average with a home run and 9 RBIs. A very valuable man. And those Philly fans again, I'm sure you can hear them in the background, starting to come to life. McCarver waits. Here's a pitch. Fouled away, strike one. McCarver, who is Steve Carlton's special catcher, caught the first ball game, and he went 1 for 3 with a walk, a single, and a run scored. Left-hand batter, the tie-breaking run at second base in the person of Bob Boone. Ted Sizemore at first base. A 3-3 tie, last half of the sixth inning. Here's the pitch to McCarver, a tie for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Tim McCarver, one-time St. Louis Cardinals star catcher in their heyday, the days of Bob Gibson and company. Has that front foot to right one almost on top of the plate. He's waiting. Roden is ready. Here's the delivery as the runners move up and a tie. 2 balls, 1 strike. Rick Roden now running into a little bit of a rival spell here. He walked one man in the third inning. Got out of it with no trouble. He walked the man in the fifth. Got out of it with no trouble, but he has fallen behind hitters here in the sixth inning and has given up back-to-back singles. 2 balls and 1 strike to Tim McCarver. Bob Boone at second base. Ted Sizemore at first. And now time is called. As the fans here at Veterans Stadium start that crescendo, he just stepped off the rubber. And there they go again. The 2-1 pitch is high. 3 balls, 1 strike. There are 63,719 fans, all apparently rooting for the Phillies. A full count. If Roden can overcome this route, he may quiet these people, but until they do, they're going to keep going.
Philadelphia Philly fan is a very long-waiting fan. They are looking for their first championship ever in baseball. They have never been able to win a championship in 1915. They were defeated in the World Series 4-1. 1950, they were defeated 4-0 by the Yankees, and last year in the championship series, they were defeated by the Cincinnati Reds 3-0. We've got a 3-2 count. Runners at first and second and 1 away. McCarver batting for Ron Reed is waiting. Here is Roden. The pitch fouled away, and we're going to do it one more time. Danny Ozark with Bob Boone at second base and Sizemore at first did not have his men going. Behind McCarver, the left-hand hitting Bake McBride. Absolutely remarkable display here by Philadelphia fans. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Roden again set. McCarver waits. There go the runners. The ball is hit foul on the right side, and that's out of reach of Reggie Smith. The ball wasn't hit far enough to be of any danger,
Had it been fair, Smith would have caught it with ease, but it was pulled foul, maybe 25 feet or so into the seats in right field. So the count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes, and Danny Ozark shifted gears that time, and he started Boone and Sizemore. And now Boone is going to have a chat with Billy DeMars, the third base coach. Well, you got to wonder, do they miss the sign the first time or the second time? Whatever, Boone wants to know exactly what's going on from Billy DeMars, the third base coach. They have a quick conversation. Dave Lopes is walking in to talk to Rick Rhoden. Lance Rotson, the left-hander, Elias Sosa, the right-hander, continue to throw in the Dodger bullpen. A dramatic part of the ball game. Dodgers 3, the Phillies 3. Rhoden checking out his catcher, Yeager. McCarver waits. And an attempt at pickoff does not come to life. Rhoden turned around to throw to second. Russell trying to creep in behind Boone, but Rhoden didn't throw the ball, just stepped off the rubber and held on to it. Now Sizemore with a big lead at first. Boone off at second again. McCarver at the plate. There they go. Here's the 3-2 pitch hit high in the air to right field. An easy play for Smith. The runners retreat in a hurry as Reggie Smith grabs this for the second out.
Good job by Rhoden. 3-2 and 3 pitches. With the count, 3 balls and 2 strikes in the strike zone. The first 2 fouled off, and he got the third one over, and a fly ball for an out to right field.
Rick Rhoden is still a very young pitcher. Rhoden, 24 years old on May the 16th, is only in his second full year as a big leaguer. He's had about 2.5 years in the big leagues, and believe me, he's got some ice water in him. He came on in the second inning when Burt Hooton was forced out and got Mike Schmidt on 1 pitch, and in trying circumstances has nailed pinch hitter Tim McCarver. Now here's Bake McBride. 2 down, runners at first and second, bottom of the 6th. 3-3 tie. McBride from the left side has gone 0 for 2 in the game, and here's the pitch. Inside, ball 1. McBride, who wears a full beard, he was acquired from the St. Louis Cardinals for Tommy Underwood. It's been a big trade for both ball clubs. The Phillies are delighted with it. Rhoden now looking into this catcher. Sizemore at first, Boone at second, drifting off. The 1-0 pitch to McBride. Hit on the ground to second. Grabbed by Lopes. The play to short. At second base, it's Russell. He's got it. And that takes care of the Philadelphia Phillies in here in the 6th inning as Bake McBride forces Ted Sizemore at second base. For the Phillies, no runs. A couple of base hits and 2 men left. We go to the 7th. It's all even. Dodgers 3, Philadelphia 3.
Al McRae, one of the key players in the Kansas City Royals, will be inducted into the Florida A&M University Sports Hall of Fame November 18th. McRae played baseball for the Rattlers in 1964 and 65, hitting .364 and .353 with 16 homers his first year and 19 his second. Other members of the FAMU Hall of Fame include tennis star Althea Gibson, former professional football players Bob Hayes and Willie Gallimore, and Jake Gaither.
Well, in the regular season, these 2 teams played 12 times, and each team won 6 games, and each team won in their home area, winning 4 and losing 2. And the first 2 games of the series split, so this ball game tied at 3, so it couldn't be more even. And it's been an exciting series so far, and this ball game, a wild ball game, as far as the inclusion of the fans in the stands, have had a great influence on what has taken place. In the second inning, after Greg Luzinski had singled the left field, Richie Hebner grounded into a force play. Hebner at first base and Luzinski out. Then with 2 men out, Bob Boone singles the center field to put runners at first and second. Ted Sizemore walked on 4 pitches to load the bases, and then Larry Christenson came up, and the crowd got into it, and they just started to roar. Burt Hooton on the mound at the time walked Larry Christenson on a 3-2 pitch after he thought he had him struck out. He did not like the call by Harry Wendelstadt, the home plate umpire. Then he walked Bake McBride and followed with a walk of Larry Bowa to force in 3 runs. Phillies leading by that time by a score of 3-2 after the Dodgers had scored in the second, scoring twice on singles by Garvey, a double by Dusty Baker, and a single by Steve Yeager, and a double by Burt Hooton. But then the Dodgers tied it up with a run in the top of the fourth inning to make it a 3-3 ball game, a double by Ron Cey, and he was driven in by Dusty Baker. So we're going now to the top of the seventh, a new pitch in the ball game for the Philadelphia Phillies, and here to tell you about it, Jerry Coleman.
Okay, the 5'10" right-hander Gene Garber comes on, and he was in that winning game, won by the Phillies 7-5 over the Dodgers in the first one. He went 1 1/3 innings, did not give up a hit or a run. Over the season, pitched in 64 ball games, and the first man that he's going to face, Ed Goodson. He's pinch hitting for Rick Rhoden, so Goodson is up there from the left side. He takes strike one. Next one on the way to Goodson. Swung on a miss, strike two. So Garber, who pulls that string nicely, has moved well ahead of Ed Goodson. Goodson has been used sparingly by the Dodgers, primarily as a pinch hitter. The two-strike pitch coming up, a chopper toward the second baseman. Sizemore, who is way back, comes in and makes the underhand toss to Hebner, and Goodson is out of there. That play goes 4-3. Goodson was acquired along with Dusty Baker from the Atlanta Braves. So Goodson's out, and that'll bring on the lead man, Davey Lopes. And this is the guy in a game like this you try to keep off the bases. He led the National League in stolen bases the last couple of years. This year, he had 47 of them. His overall high, 77 2 years ago. Dave Lopes, right-hand batter. 3-3 tie, seventh inning. Garber's pitch to Lopes. Sinker low and inside, ball one. Lopes from the right side choking up, and Garber delivers a curve that got the corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Doug Rao, a left-hander, throwing for the Dodgers in the bullpen right now. Here's Lopes, and he takes it away outside for 2 balls and 1 strike. They spread the infield on him. Bowa in the hole at shortstop. Sizemore moves over into the hole at second and deep. Right on that line at third base is Schmidt. The 2-1 pitch to Lopes. The chopper to the shortstop. Bowa had him played perfectly, and Lopes is out of there 6-3. 2 up and 2 down, seventh inning. Now Bill Russell, the batter. Russell lined to second base, popped up to third, and doubled with 1 out in the fifth inning. But right after that, Ron Reed struck out Smith and Cey to get out of that inning with no further problem. Bill Russell waiting, and the first pitch to Bill. Right down there, strike one. Russell's off the end of the bat, maybe 2 or 3 inches. Bill, a dependable hitter, and is very tough in the clutch. The next one by Garber, in the dirt. Off the bat of Russell, apparently. It looks like a foul tip, and it goes no balls, 2 strikes. All right, Garber's ready, and Russell takes outside. The board has 1 and 2. The last pitch before this one hit the dirt, apparently hitting the tip of Russell's bat and bouncing away from the catcher. Now the 1-2 pitch on the way. Sidearm curveball, chopped to the third baseman. Mike Schmidt over to first just in time, and he's got him. So Garber has been outstanding in relief. 1, 2, 3 here in the seventh inning. We go to the last of the seventh. Dodgers 3, Philadelphia 3.
Getting back to that Hal McRae story, we mentioned one of the key players on the Royals team. They're hoping to play tonight at Kansas City. The Rains hold up against the Yankees in Game 3, all tied up 1-1. He will be entering the Florida A&M University Sports Hall of Fame November the 18th. We mentioned some of the people will also be going. We briefly mentioned Jake Gaither. He's a legendary football coach who compiled a 203-36 record while coaching the Rattlers. Costa Kettles, McRae's baseball coach at FAMU, said he saw the Kansas City Star in spring training about a year ago. McRae's attitude toward baseball, he said, hasn't changed. He still loves baseball. It was number 1 to him then and still is now. He always has been a fine young man. Kettles, also an assistant football coach, watched McRae on television Wednesday evening break up a double play, knocking the ball out of the hands of Yankee second baseman Willie Randolph. The play drew the rage of New York manager Billy Martin, who accused McRae of interference.
Well, the attendance here today, 63,719, the second largest crowd ever at Veterans Stadium. First 2 games drew 111,941, so the total attendance for the first 3 games, 175,660. So it has been a well-observed 3-game series so far, and now the Philadelphia Phillies making a bid as they come to bat here in the bottom of the seventh inning, and a new pitcher in for the Dodgers. Doug Rao with a record of 14-8, a 3.44 earned run average. He did not appear in relief all season long. Rick Rhoden, going out of the ball game, did not relieve all season long. Had a record of 16-10, and in this ball game, in his first relief appearance, he worked 4 1/3 innings, giving up no runs on just 2 base hits. So Doug Rao, a left-hander in the game, and coming back to call the play-by-play, Jerry Coleman.
You know, Ralph, when you think about a relief pitcher, you think of a guy who can throw the ball hard. And Gene Garber and Doug Rao are just the opposite of that. They're cuties. They move the ball around. Doug Rao coming on. All right, the left-hand pitcher going up against the switch-hitting Larry Bowa, batting from the right side. Bowa is 0 for 2 in the ball game. We're in the bottom of the 7th, all even at 3. Doug Rao is ready, and the pitch on the way to Bowa. It's in the dirt. A curveball low for ball 1. Dodgers 3 runs, 8 hits. The Phillies 3 runs, 4 hits. Dodgers got 2 in the first and 1 in the fourth. The Phillies got all of theirs in the second inning on 4 consecutive walks by Burt Hooton. The 1-0 pitch now to Bowa is popped up in the infield. Calling forward is Dave Lopes. Second baseman drifts under and puts it away for the first out in the 7th. So we have 1 gone as Mike Schmidt comes in. Schmidt, a right-hand batter with big power. 38 home runs this year. In the series, though, is having a struggle. He is 1 for 11 with a base on balls. A 3-3 tie, the big guns. Schmidt at the plate. In the on-deck circle, Greg Luzinski. The first pitch to Schmidt is a breaking ball, low and inside, ball 1. Doug Rao tries to touch up with that slow curveball, then he'll slip the fastball by him. Now Rao checks his catcher. Outfield swung out to the left, and Schmidt takes a changeup on the outside corner for a strike. A year ago, Doug Rao had an earned run average of 2.57. In fact, he went into the final game of the year with a chance to win the ERA and fell to pieces and lost it. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Schmidt chops it to third. Cey right on the line. The throw across the diamond. Schmidt has gone 5-3. Now Greg Luzinski steps in, 2 down. Nobody on, last half of the 7th. Luzinski, right-hand hitter, up against the left-handed Rao, who has handled Bowa and Schmidt with ease. Here's the first pitch to the Bull. Swung on a miss, strike 1. The Phillies have not really played much with that bat today. They've got 4 hits, but all of their runs, as we mentioned earlier, came in the second on 4 consecutive walks by the starter Burt Hooton. The 1-strike pitch to Greg is outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Outfield, infield, swung way off, and the infield way back at all 3 spots, second, short, and third. First baseman Garvey about straight away. The 1-1 pitch to Greg. He went after the changeup and missed it. A ball and 2 strikes. Elias Sosa, a right-hander, throwing in the Dodger bullpen. The Phillies have 1 more big bullpen star to come in if they need him. Tug McGraw, left-hander. Dodgers are using starting pitchers in their bullpen with the exception of Sosa. They got 4 1/3 brilliant innings from Rick Rhoden. Now they're getting 1 from Doug Rao, and there's a foul at the plate off the bat of Luzinski. The count stays at a ball and 2 strikes. Now Rao walks around. He's out of Texas. Very trim athlete. Checks Yeager. They pitch on the way, low and in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Rao this year won 14 ball games and lost 8. The winningest pitcher for the Dodgers was an unlikely choice, if you talked about it before the season started, Tommy John, who was coming off of arm surgery of a couple of years ago and won only 10 games a year ago. He went on to win 20 this year, and Steve Carlton will battle again tomorrow night. Here's a 2-2 pitch to Luzinski, and he struck him out. He zipped the fastball right by him. Luzinski dozed out swinging. The Phillies are under their 1-2-3. We've gone through 7 innings. Dodgers 3, Phillies 3.
Well, Tom Lasorda, in his first year as manager of the Dodgers, has done quite a job. He was in the Dodger organization, well, it seemed like forever. He once had a team that lost 7 in a row. And then they had a turnaround and went on to be the champions. And he asked was asked by his wife how he did it, and he said, well, he said, we lost the 7 straight games, and our team came in with their heads down, and I'll get your heads up. Don't ever let me see you with your heads down. How do you know that the 1927 Yankees once lost 9 in a row, then went on to become the world's champions, and maybe the greatest team ever? And then with that in mind, Lasorda's team went on to win. After listening to this, Mrs. Lasorda said, Tom, did the Yankees really lose 9 in a row in 1927? And Tom replied, how should I know? I was only 1 year old at the time. Well, that's the kind of a manager that Tom Lasorda is. He says, I'm just the luckiest man in the world. I'm a first-year manager, a beat-up third-string pitcher, and the son of an Italian immigrant, and I got this kind of a team. We're going now to the top of the 8th. The Phillies tied up with the Dodgers at 3-3. A big crowd on hand. The Dodgers led 2-0 after 1.5. The Phillies led 3-2 after 2. The Dodgers tied it in the 4th, and they have not put a run on the scoreboard since. So here in the top of the 8th inning, the Dodgers coming up, and once again, Jerry Coleman.
You know, Ralph, I enjoyed that story about Tommy Lasorda and the 1927 Yankees losing 9 in a row. And there's one that you can really talk about even later than that. In 1953, the Yankees won 18 straight and then turned around and lost 9 in a row. That's hard to do when you think about it.
Baseball is a game that you really don't know a lot about. It's a game of inches. And it was a matter of a fraction of an inch as far as Burt Hooton, the starting pitcher, is concerned.
So here's a guy who has been shackled all afternoon for the Dodgers, but he's a man you got to be careful with. It's Reggie Smith. He has struck out 3 times in 3 trips. And Garber's first pitch, hard ground ball to second. Sizemore has it, and Smith is out of there. So Garber, once again, gets his man. The play going 4-3. Ron Cey, the batter, bounced to third, doubled, and he struck out. Gene Garber is one of those fellows who had to work hard to get where he got. He started with the Pittsburgh Pirates, on to the Kansas City A's, then to the Phillies in 74, and make that the Kansas City Royals. And he has really struggled to get where he got, and he's become one of the best relief pitchers in baseball. The first pitch to Cey is outside for ball 1. Outfield swung way off to the left. To Cey awaits the next one. Ground ball to third. Schmidt over there on the line. A long throw. He's got it. Mike Schmidt once again shows that he can do it all. So Cey is out. He hit a blistering ground ball. Schmidt actually caught the ball in foul territory. And that long throw across the diamond had to carry about 130 feet. It was on the money. Cey is cut down for the second out. And in the 8th inning, the Dodgers have 2 down, nobody on, with Steve Garvey stepping in. Garvey 1 for 3 in this ball game. He is 4 for 10 in the series. They asked Garvey to go for power this year. He did. 33 home runs, 115 RBIs. He led the club, but he sacrificed his regular season of 200 base hits, something he's had the last 3 years before this one. He didn't get to the 200 base hit department this year. Garvey came up with 192 hits, so he fell 8 shy. The first pitch is fouled off by Steve for strike 1. Garber to Garvey outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 down, nobody on. 8th inning, 3-3 tie. And this is the kind of a ball game where any little thing can turn it around. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and now Garvey steps out and asks for time, and he gets it from the plate umpire, Harry Wendelstadt. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Steve. Swung on a miss by Garvey for strike 2. A ball and 2 strikes. Garvey was the first Dodger ever to have 3 consecutive years of 200 base hits. Now the 1 ball, 2 strike pitch to Garvey. Ground ball, shortstop Bowa a little bit to his left. Easy play, and he's got him at first. So once again, Gene Garber has been brilliant, retiring the Dodgers in order in the 8th. After 7.5, Dodgers 3, the Phillies 3.
Boston Celtics, convinced that veteran Dave Bing can help them this season, trimmed backcourt players Mike Dabney and Bill Lango on Friday, bringing their roster to 13 players. Dabney, a former Rutgers star from East Orange, New Jersey, had been a free agent. while Langloh, a fifth-round draft choice, University of Virginia, was the Celtics' fifth-round choice. The pair had been battling to fill a fourth guard spot on the squad until Boston signed Bing last week. The 34-year-old Bing, who left the Washington Bullets because he was not being played in key situations, scored 14 points against his former team Thursday in the Celtics' 118-115 loss. The Celtics now 2-2 in exhibition play, heading into a Saturday evening game against the Knicks in New York. Must make 2 more roster cuts before they open the regular season October 19th in San Antonio. Again, we have nothing official yet on the Yankee at Royals game tonight. A lot of rain, 80% chance of rain. They are trying to square off in the third game of the best of 5 after Ron Guidry pitched the Yanks to a 6-2 win of the Royals last night. Mike Torres is expected to go for the Yankees against 20-game winner Dennis Leonard. Started raining, as we said earlier, on Thursday night in Kansas City. Forecasters now say the rains will continue into the evening hours before dwindling late in the evening, but not in time for the start of the ball game.
8 teams so far in this game have had 10 men on base. The Dodgers had 3 runs on 8 hits and 2 walks. The Phillies have had 3 runs, 4 hits, and 6 walks in the ball game. Doug Rowell has left the game after retiring 3 in a row. He pitched to Mike Schmidt and Greg Luzinski, and I'm wondering the reason why he was brought in was that he has that ball. It's a turnover screwball that is tough for a right-hand batter. Rowell, a left-hand pitcher, just to pitch to Schmidt and Luzinski. He got them both out, and now it's Elias Sosa coming in the ball game, a right-hander, to work to Richie Hebner, Garry Maddox, and Bob Boone. And once again, here's Jerry Coleman.
And Elias Sosa, the man who was the victim of the first game loss by the Dodgers. In that game, he went 2 innings, gave up 3 hits, a couple of runs, and that final run came in when he balked it in. So Elias Sosa is coming on against Richie Hebner, Garry Maddox, and Bob Boone. Sosa becomes the 4th Dodger pitcher and the 8th overall in the ball game. The Phillies have used 4. The Dodgers now have 4 of them in there. Richie Hebner bounced to second, fly to center, and fly to right field. Sosa from the Dominican Republic, a right-hander, 6'2", and he's ready with the first one. Here it is. Hebner hooks it foul. He got out in front of a slider and pulled it about 30 feet foul on a line. Strike 1. Dodgers 3 runs, 8 hits, no errors. The Phillies 3 runs, 4 hits, and no errors. Reggie Smith well over toward the line in right field as Hebner waits. Here's a pitch by Sosa, and it's outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hebner will take almost a completely wide-open stance against the left-hander, and against the right-hander, he'll close it a great deal more. The 1-1 pitch. Hebner hits it hard to right field. Way back there. It's up off the wall. Hebner is racing for second, and he's got a double.
No doubt about the ball being an extra base hit. The doubt was whether or not it would stay in the ballpark as far as the Dodgers are concerned. And it hit off of the wall. Reggie Smith fielded the ball perfectly out there and threw it into second base, but over the head of the second baseman, and Hebner going in with the double. And that could be the break in the ball game as far as the Phillies are concerned. They've got a man at second base, nobody out, and that represents a potential winning run. Garry Maddox, who struck out and bounced to third and fly to center, is coming in. And now Red Adams, the pitching coach for the Dodgers, is on his way to the mound. Lance Rotson is throwing in the bullpen. Now Red Adams and Steve Yeager having a chat out there. Mike Garman is out there as well. Lance Rotson and Mike Garman. Mike Garman, the right-hander, Rotson, the left-hander. And you have to believe that if they use Rotson, it'll be in a select situation against a left-hand hitter if one comes along. All right, Garry Maddox now. His job is to get the runner to third base any way that he can. Let's see what happens. Elias Sosa at the set.
Maddox waits and hits it to the right side. A base hit. Here comes Hebner. The throw to the plate. No good. And into the Dodger dugout. Taken the lead, and over at third base is Garry Maddox with nobody out, and Bob Boone is moving in. It was the speed of Maddox that got him to third. He got the base that he was going to, which was second, and an extra base after it when the ball went in the dugout. And you take it from the time the ball leaves the outfielder's hand. So Maddox had passed first base when Smith threw the ball wildly into the dugout. It's 4-3 Philadelphia. Bottom of the eighth. Sosa kicks with the infield in, and there's a pitch out. It's outside, ball one. That sometimes can be a very tough play for the umpire. It's when the outfielder releases the ball that the runner will be awarded bases. And Maddox, with good speed on a low hit ball, very slow hit ball to right field, had passed first base when Smith released the ball. It went into the dugout, so Maddox got second, the base he was going to, and one additional base. One away. Bob Boone, the batter. Nobody out. 4-3 Philadelphia, eighth inning. A ground ball to Cey at third. Maddox is frozen right there. The throw is wide. An error by Ron Cey. Bob Boone down to second base on a throwing error by Ron Cey. The errors by the Dodgers defense. Normally an outstanding defense, and the Philadelphia Phillies getting an extra run and now leading by a score of 5-3, and a runner still in scoring position with no one out. So that was a routine play, and Cey simply missed Garvey, threw it over his head by 5 feet. So Bob Boone down to second, and now here's Ted Sizemore coming on. Still nobody out. Phillies lead by 2. They pitch to Sizemore. He squares the bunt, takes it for a strike. A breaking ball. He tried to duck under, thought it might have been high. So the Phillies have broken it wide open here in the eighth inning. They lead it 5-3. Elias Sosa gave up a double to Hebner. A single to Maddox. A throwing error by the right fielder got Maddox to third, and now an error by the third baseman. Fastball inside, and Sizemore takes it 1-1. In the first ball game won by the Phillies 7-5, the Phillies got 4 unearned runs, and 1 came in on a balk. And in this ball game here, errors have certainly helped the cause. Not only that, those 4 successive walks by Burt Hooton were disastrous. The 1-1 pitch to Sizemore, chopped away left side. Tug McGraw, left-hander, continues to throw in the bullpen for Philadelphia. Gene Garber is the following hitter behind Sizemore. Sizemore has walked, tried to bunt a ball for a base hit, was thrown out by Lopes, and then had an infield single. Bob Boone at second base with the lead. Sizemore is waiting. Here is Sosa's delivery. And it's fouled off his foot, and he's got, oh, that hurts. I can feel it from here. Ralph, did you do that much? Some hitters do it all the time, some never do it. How about you?
No, I didn't, and I know one that did it an awful lot. Vic Wurzer was an outstanding home run hitter. He used to have to wear a little protective shin guard down there to protect his front foot.
Well, in his latter years, Ted Williams had the same problem. He wore that little, sort of the bottom end of the catcher's shin guard to protect that right foot in his case. Sizemore now is trying to get the effects of that foul off that left foot to go away.
I had a roommate, George Metkovich, Catfish Metkovich, and we were out at a swimming pool one time, and someone said, George, you sure got funny-looking feet. And he said, yours would look as bad as mine if you fouled as many balls off your feet as I did.
He wasn't a bad hitter. He came over to the White Sox later and had some pretty good years. All right, Sizemore's back in there. The count is a ball and 2 strikes, nobody out. 2 runs across. Bob Boone at second base. 5-3 Philadelphia, last half of the 8th inning. Sosa, the right-hander, is ready. He's at the set. Here's the pitch, and Sizemore drills one hop to third. Cey has it. The throw this time is good, and holding at second base, is Bob Boone. So Boone has to hold at second as Sizemore hits a 1-hopper to the third baseman, Ron Cey. The play goes 5-3. Now Gene Garber is going to come up and do his thing. And Garber's getting a standing ovation by the fans here. Veterans Stadium, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Garber is an excellent relief pitcher, but not much of a hitter. He has gone 0 for 10 for the year, looking for his first hit of 77. Infield, shallow, the outfield the same. Cey tight at third, Garvey at first. Boone drifting off at second base, 1 down. And Garber squares the bunt, and he does, but it's foul on the third base side. Well, if you just tuned in, we went into the bottom of the 8th inning tied at 3. Sosa came in for the Dodgers. He served up a booming double off the wall to Richie Hebner. Garry Maddox hit a low single into right field. The ball was thrown away by the right fielder. Maddox all the way to third. Hebner in to score. And now Garber squares the bunt. It's on the right side. Sosa has to make the play to first, and the sacrifice is good. So the sacrifice 1-3. Garber gets Boone over to third base with 2 down, and that'll bring on the top of the order, Bake McBride. Right after Maddox went to third base on a throwing error by the right fielder, Reggie Smith, Bob Boone hit a routine ground ball to third, and Cey threw it away for the second run. And now Tommy Lasorda goes out there, and that's all for Elias Sosa. Left-hander Lance Rotson is coming on. So Rotson making his first appearance in this series. Coming in there, and he'll be going up against the left-handed hitting Bake McBride. Ralph?
Just want to take a minute now to remind you fans that there's lots more baseball excitement for you on most of these stations. The World Series, of course, starting October 11th, CBS Radio Sports will bring you all the play-by-play action as the 2 league winners fight it out for the World Championship. We need not miss this. Not a single game. Take along a portable wherever you go and follow the World Series over most of these CBS Radio Network stations. Left-hander Lance Rotson, and possibly one of the most exciting games we've had in the series, although we certainly had a dandy in that first game that's coming on. He's a young man out of Pottsville, Pennsylvania, not too far from here. 6'1", 205-pounder. A rookie left-hander stepping in there, and in his rookie year, he went 4-1 with a 4.29 earned run average. Rotson did not start a ball game, appeared in 25 games in relief, and this is number 26 in 1977 for the Dodgers. So Lance Rotson going up against the left-hand hitting Bake McBride as manager Tommy Lasorda goes for the percentages. Let's see how it develops. At third base, you've got Bob Boone, and if you're in that infield for the Dodgers and Bake McBride is up there, you've got to be ready for the possibility of a bunt. McBride from the left side. Rotson is ready, and the pitch is low, ball 1. Phillies 5, Dodgers 3, last of the 8th inning. McBride today is 0 for 3, 4 for 12 in the series. They 1-0 pitch, and he takes it outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Rotson was 1-1 against the Phillies this year. Rautzhan, Lance Rotson. The 2-0 pitch to McBride, fouled back on the screen. 2 balls and a strike. A double and a couple of key errors have activated the Phillies, although the base hit by Garry Maddox got Hebner in clean, but it was after that the errors started to develop.
Here's the 2-1 pitch. A chopper toward the shortstop. Stay in front of him. Bare hands to the throw. In time. An eyelash play at first base. McBride is out of there 5-3. The Phillies pick up 2 runs on a couple of hits, 2 errors, and a man left. We go to the 9th inning. Philadelphia 5, Los Angeles 3.
Well, driving champion Nicky Lauda disregarded the pleas Friday of Ferrari team manager Roberto Nassetti, refused to reverse his decision to skip Sunday's Grand Prix of Canada auto race. Nassetti said that I tried to talk him into racing. He just didn't want to race. There was absolutely no reason for him not to race. The Austrian driver telephoned his decision to the Ferrari factory on Friday morning. Lauda, who has been feuding with Ferrari since the Austrian announced he had switched to Brabham in 1978, clinched the World Championship last Sunday when he finished 4th in the U.S. Grand Prix at Watkins Glen, New York. Lauda said earlier this week he would withdraw if he was not satisfied with his car's preparation after qualifying sessions at Marsport, Ontario, Friday and Saturday. But the Ferrari team's announcement Friday said Lauda decided to quit after spending the night considering his position. Lauda was not at the track and could not be contacted for comment.
Fans enjoy the drama of the World Series by getting your official copy of the 1977 World Series program, the same one that's sold at the ballpark. This 80-page program is a sheer collector's item with color features on the divisional winners plus stories on past World Series. Look for the program on selected newsstands, or you can order your copy now by sending a check or money order for $2.50 to World Series program, Post Office Box 666, San Francisco, California. The zip is 94101, 94101. The proceeding has been brought to you on behalf of Major League Baseball. All the Dodgers are down to their last 3 outs. It's Dusty Baker to lead off, and here to take you along the way, Gary Coleman.
And the moment of truth for both the Phillies and the Dodgers. This is the key ball game, and the best 3 of 5. The winner of this will go into the final 2, needing only one of those 2. Dusty Baker, Rick Mundy, and Steve Yeager going up against Gene Garber, who in 2 efforts has retired 10 Dodgers in order. 8 of them have been on ground balls and 2 strikeouts. He has been letter perfect. And now Dusty Baker, who is 2 for 3, steps in. Garber's first pitch, curveball, swung on a miss, strike 1. Phillies, 5 runs, 6 hits, no errors. The Dodgers, 3 runs, 8 hits, and 2 errors. Garber winds again, and the delivery, and Baker fouls it away for strike 2. Dusty Baker trying to get the Dodgers back into this ball game tomorrow night at Steve Carlin and Tommy John in a repeat of the first game starting pitchers. Now time is called. There's a ball loose in right field area, and the right field umpire Bob Engel goes out and picks it up. Tug McGraw is throwing in the bullpen for Philadelphia. Garber came on the 7th, retired the side in order in the 7th and 8th. There's a foul away. This one over toward the box that has Peter O'Malley, the Dodger president, in it. These cannot be happy moments for him. No balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Baker, Mundy, Yeager, the 3 hitters that go against Garber in the 9th. A chopper to third. Schmidt on a half hop. Gets the short hop. Makes the play. He's got him. Reaction play by Mike Schmidt. On a tough hop, he came in and short hopped it. And, man, I'll tell you, he made the big play to get that first out, and that's the one they wanted. Now here is Rick Mundy stepping in, who singled, walked, fly to center field. Garber has had 7 outs, all to the infield. Nobody's hit the ball in the air yet. A brilliant job by the right-hander. There's a sinker low to Rick Mundy, ball 1. Now Bob Boone goes out to have a chat with his pitcher. They kind of have a split defense on Monday. The outfield goes to the left side, the infield to the right side. They figure if he hits the ball in the air, it'll go to left center. On the ground, it'll be pulled to the right side. And Sizemore, the second baseman, is about 6 to 8 feet behind the imaginary line that would normally dictate the outfield grass. Garber, a little guy out of Pennsylvania, pitching brilliantly. Into the windup. The 1-0 pitch to Mundy. Ground ball to second. Sizemore sits on it. 2 outs. Kiner, I don't know what more you can ask for than a pitching exhibition by Gene Garber. It's been unbelievable as Vic Davalillo comes in now to bat for Steve Yeager.
No question about Garber having command right here, and of course it's down to 1. Vic Davalillo, who was brought in from the Mexican League to finish up the season with the Dodgers, has the only hope of keeping it going right now. The Dodgers are down to their final at bat. Left-hand hitting Vic Davalillo. Swings at the first one and misses. Strike 1. Davalillo has been in the Mexican League the last 3 years. A veteran near 40 years of age. Was a big star in the American League with Chicago and Cleveland for many years. There's a dribbler. It's to the second baseman and no chance for Sizemore to make a play. And on at first base with a single is Davalillo. Davalillo laying down a beautiful bunt single in front of Ted Sizemore. Comes up for the first hit off of Garber since coming on in this ball game. And now Manny Mota, considered by many to be one of the finest pinch hitters ever, with a lifetime batting average of over 300, is up there. Mota coming on, he'll be batting for Lance Roxon. So Davalillo with a bunt single keeps it going for the Dodgers. All right, Manny Mota, right-hand batter. Mota in his first appearance in the series batted .395 this year. Waits for the first one there. This one is on the corner for a strike. Mota as a pinch hitter was 14 for 36. Davalillo at first. 2 down. Had a pinch hit home run in the last game of the season for the Dodgers, his first since 1975.
Mota swings and misses. Strike 2. Drama continues here at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. No balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch to Mota. A drive to left field. Going back is Luzinski near the wall. And he didn't catch it. It's off the wall. Runners at second and third. The ball gets away from Sizemore. 1 run is in, and the tying run is at third. Oh, man, can you believe it? Luzinski trapped the ball against the wall and caught it when it came down. The left field umpire, Paul Pryor, said no catch. How do you like that, Ralph Kiner?
The ball was in his glove, bounced out of the glove, and hit against the wall, and then Luzinski caught it. And Paul Pryor on the play said it was off of the wall and it will be an extra base hit. The ball got away and a run scored, and now the tying run is at third base, and the batter coming up is Davey Lopes. The Dodgers are battling back. There was a double for Mota. I'm sure that the left fielder Luzinski will be hung with an error on the play. The tying run at third. 2 down. The pitch coming up, and it's off the glove of Schmidt. Sabella, he makes the play. He swings at first. A tie ball game. A tie ball game. Man, oh man, what a play. Schmidt had been the human vacuum cleaner at third all through the ball game, making spectacular plays. The ball was off of his glove. Boa quickly got to it. The throw to first base by Boa was close. The safe call was made by first base umpire Bruce Frommage. And then the argument started because the tying run crossed on the safe call. It's now a 5-5 ball game. Hebner, the first baseman, kicked his cap about 15 feet away. He had to be restrained. He is still in the ball game. And out there to argue is Danny Ozark. But the ball game has been tied up here in the top of the 9th inning at 5-5. A comeback for the Dodgers. And really a comeback on the errors this time of the Philadelphia Phillies. Let's pause 5 seconds for station identification. This is the CBS Radio Network.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
They gave a base hit to Davey Lopes when he tied it up, and there's a throw to first. It gets by the first baseman, and Lopes representing the go-ahead runners at second, and the Phillies are falling apart. Charge and error to the pitcher, Gene Garber, on an attempted pickoff of Davey Lopes. And if you can stay with it, don't go away. We're just getting underway. It's all even at 5. On the ball hit by Mota, it went as a base hit. The ball hit by Lopes went as a base hit. An error charged to the second baseman. So the Dodgers have one error, and now another error charged to the pitcher. Second error for the Dodgers, and the go-ahead runners at second base with Bill Russell stepping in. Bill chops one foul for strike one. A dramatic comeback by the Dodgers here at Veterans Stadium in a game where they appeared to be buried and dead. 5-5 tie as Gene Garber has been touched up for a couple of runs here in the top of the ninth. Here's the pitch by Russell. It's low and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Lopes with a tie-breaking run at second base. Lopes will get credit for the hit and the RBI on that run that scored when Mota came in from third. And the next one to Russell is low. So Bill Russell now with a count of 2 balls and 1 strike. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Dodgers trying to pull it out here in the ninth inning. Here's Garber's 2-1 delivery, and Russell throws the bat, and Garber has to jump it on a ball. It's fouled on the left side. Russell, in an effort to stay alive in one of those slow-hanging curveballs, let the bat go and almost got Garber.
Just got all the officials scoring in this inning. With 2 men out, Davila beat out a bunt for a base hit, and then Mota hit one off the top of the glove and the wall and never scored as a 2-base hit. The throw got away from the second baseman there, charged there, and on the play, Davila came in to score, so no run batted in. And then a base hit by Lopes to drive in the second run to tie it, and Lopes going to second on the air by the pickoff on the pitcher.
Okay, Russell waits. Here's the pitch. A chopper third base side, foul again. So take away that RBI from Manny Mota on the double off the glove and the wall of Greg Luzinski. All of this with 2 outs. A 5-5 tie as Garber now checks his catcher once again, Yeager. There goes Lopes for third. Russell hits it up the middle, and the Dodgers are going ahead. The Dodgers take the lead 6-5 as Lopes was moving, and Russell slaps it up the middle for a go-ahead single, a 4th consecutive hit off of Gene Garber. The Dodgers now lead at 6-5 in the ninth inning, and Reggie Smith is stepping in. Garber now going after Smith, who has struck out 3 times and bounced to second. There's a foul away by Smith for strike 1. Just like that, the Dodgers, with 3 runs in the top of the ninth inning, have taken it away, and they lead at 6-5. L.A. 6 runs, 12 hits. Phillies 5 runs, 6 hits. But the Phils have 1 more at-bat. Here's Garber's delivery, and Smith fouls it away. Strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes. 2 right-handers, knuckleballer Charlie Huff and the curveballer Mike Garman throwing in the bullpen for Los Angeles. So one of them will be on to pitch against the Phillies in the ninth. And looking ahead to the Phillies, it'll be Bowa, Schmidt, and Luzinski. Here's the 2-strike pitch, and it's fouled away, and there goes the bat flying down the first base side. Wow, that's about the 4th bat. The bats are going farther than the base hits.
I don't know about you, Jerry Coleman, but with this kind of baseball, even my palms are sweaty.
You can understand it. This was a dramatic ninth inning for the Dodgers. They came in trailing 5-3, and the first 2 men, Baker and Mundy, went down meekly. Then a bunt single by Davalillo, a double by Manny Mota, an error by the second baseman. Let Davalillo come in, and Mota went to third. An infield hit by Dave Lopes tied it up. A single by Russell as Lopes went to second on the error on an attempted pickoff. And the Dodgers are leading it 6-5. There's a foul back again by Reggie Smith, and the count stays at 0-2. So Bill Russell with a clutch single up the middle when Lopes was heading for third, got him in with ease. The Dodgers lead at 6-5. A dramatic ball game, sensational ball game. Here's Smith waiting. Garber delivers a chopper right back to Garber. He makes the underhand toss to first. And the Dodgers are out of there. The play goes 1-3. But Los Angeles, 3 runs on 4 base hits, 2 devastating Philly errors, and a man left. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. It'll be the Dodgers 6 and the Phillies 5.
If the American League playoffs go to a decisive 5th game, the New York Yankees may have to use one of their baseball's top money pitchers, Jim Catfish Hunter. Hunter, 8-4 in postseason competition during his illustrious career, has been bothered by a hernia and has not pitched in the game since September 10th. However, he threw in the bullpen before Thursday night's game in New York and was satisfied with the results. Said Hunter, I threw about 15 minutes and felt pretty good. I'm sure I could pitch, but I don't know if Billy Martin has any plans for me. A hernia did give me some discomfort, but nothing like it did before. Martin has remained non-committal about a possible 5th game starter, but would not rule out the Catfish. Says Martin, I'm just playing it day to day. He threw well yesterday, that's a good sign, but I'll have to wait and see what develops. Hunter was only 99 this year with a 4.71 earned run average, but he's always performed well in the playoffs, and in the World Series, he is 4-3 in the playoffs, including a 1-1 record against the Royals last year. 4-1 World Series.
We're going now to the Phillies' time at bat, and they're down to their last 3 outs. It was the Dodgers in the top of the 9th inning, trailing by a score of 3-5, and coming up with 3 to go in front, 6-5, and now it's Philadelphia coming up. A new pitcher in the ball game for the Dodgers, and coming back in for the play-by-play, Jerry Coleman.
Mike Garman is coming on. He is pitcher number 6 for Los Angeles. Burt Hooton started, Rick Rhoden, Doug Rao, Elias Sosa, Lance Roxon, and now Mike Garman will try to come in and hold the Phillies. Dodgers 6 runs, 12 hits. Philadelphia 5 runs and 6 hits. And Larry Bowa is stepping in. Bowa is 0 for 3 in the ball game today, 2 for 12 in the series. The first pitch to the switch-hitting shortstop is right in there, strike 1. Mike Garman, right-hander, making his second appearance. He pitched the 3rd of an inning in the first game. Fires high, and Bowa takes it high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Garman started with the Boston Red Sox, on with the St. Louis Cardinals, the Chicago White Sox, and now with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Winds, and here's the delivery. The 1-1 pitch is popped up to the shortstop, Bill Russell, camping under this, waiting for it. He's got it, 1 away. So Larry Bowa, 1 out. Bottom of the 9th inning. Dodgers 6, Phillies 5. And now the power starts to head up there. Mike Schmidt, and behind him, Greg Luzinski. Schmidt with 38 home runs, Luzinski 39, and Garman has got to be thinking about that. A dramatic comeback by the Dodgers with 2 outs and trailing by 2. They got 3 runs. They lead by a single marker right now, last of the 9th. The first pitch to Schmidt is inside, ball 1. Schmidt has gone 0 for 3 in the ball game. He had a base on balls. He is 1 for 12. Garman, the right-hander, ready again, and the 1-0 pitch has hit the center field, high and in the air, routine play. Out there is Glenn Burke, who's taken over for Rich Monday, and we have 2 down. So now the Phillies are down to their final out. Glenn Burke has taken over in center field for Rick Monday. And behind the plate, I believe we have Jerry Grody in there for Steve Yeager. So a couple of defensive changes. If you're keeping book with us, to keep your record straight, Grody behind the plate, Burke in center field. Greg Luzinski, the only thing standing between Philadelphia and the defeat. Dodgers leading 6-5. Here's the pitch to Luzinski, and it hit him high and on the shoulder, and I'm not sure just how badly, but apparently he's shaking it off. Well, I can tell you in a spot like that, Ralph Kiner, the pitcher does not want to hit the batter. That's the tying run at first base.
So now the potential tying run is first, as at first base, and Richie Hebner coming up. It was Hebner that got a rally started in the 8th inning with a double off the wall in right center field. It saw the Phillies take the lead by a score of 5-3. And it looks like the Phillies had the ball game wrapped up, but the Dodgers came back with 2 men out and started their rally to go in front 6-5 on a bunt base hit by Vic Davalillo. Now we have a pinch runner coming in for Greg Luzinski, and now again Jerry Coleman.
Jerry Martin has gone in to run for Luzinski. Martin, a faster man, as Downey Ozark has got to have some offense here, and he must have a faster man at first base than Luzinski. So Jerry Martin is out there. Richie Hebner stepping in. The Phillies, with 2 down, have the tying run at first as Hebner from the left side is waiting. Jarman's first pitch to Hebner has hit the first, and the ball game is over. Grabbed by Steve Garvey. He caught the ball and jumped on first with an emphatic pounding of the bag, and that's it. This ball game is history. The final score, Dodgers 6, Phillies 5.